Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Hey everybody, welcome back again. Second live stream. It's going to be a lot of fun. Of course, we're going to look at how a PulseChain launch will work. So it's going to be a bit of fun, and of course, what we know so far. In any case, so we're going to talk about the pros and cons and some of the things that you need to get up to speed on. It's going to be pretty good. Hopefully, there will be a few insights for some of you and a bit of fun for the rest of you. So should be good. We're going to get into the chat as always. I'm going to try to make this a reasonably laid back session, so get into it, have a lot of fun. At the end, of course, we're going to have a look at some of the updates for some of the projects that are going to on PulseChain and some of the insights that we've garnered over the last day or two. And also, we'll finish off, of course, my favorite topic. You know me, I love the Hex price and Airdrop price. It's just a lot of fun talking about that too. So we'll get to that towards the end of the live stream and do some general FAQ. So I hope you guys enjoy it. Let's get into the chat, and of course, I'll leave a contents timestamp. You can jump straight away to the how PulseChain launch will work just by hitting the timestamp there. We've got Taffrin in the house with the money bags. Woohoo! Another one. Yeah, absolutely loving it. Taffrin with the money bags and the ducks in there. And of course, nice. Craig was in the house, but has to go. So good to see Craig in there. Thanks for dropping by. We'll see you again shortly too. And of course, who else we got there? Pulse Goddess. There is so much to study and learn. Yeah, hopefully, through all the content creators, someone said there's like 100 PulseChain, PulseX, and Hex content creators out there. That hopefully that helps to make it a bit easy. Just watching a few of the content creators out there for sure. Whole generations in the house. Woohoo! We're live in chat. Absolutely, good to see you back in there. And Brenda's in the house as well. Back at it again. Woohoo! Yeah, we're gonna have a lot of fun. A-Bit Hex is in the house. What's up, bro? Hey, good to see A-Bit in the house. Big shout out. And we've got David Gomez as well. Like, share, and subscribe. That's the way to go. Like. Yep. And Ninja Chopsticks in the house there. Hey, fam. Good to see you. And tickle that like button, says Ninja. Nice one. Sam and SB's in the house. A Hex Token channel member. What do we got here? We'll start and listen in early morning drive to Bakersfield. Enjoy yourself there, Sam. I know you work hard out there and you're traveling a lot, so do appreciate that. Lies Beneath the Truth is in there as well. Hello, how are you today? Pretty good. And of course, the seasons are changing here in New Zealand. We are, I guess, they're changing around the world. There, we've just come out of daylight savings on Sunday, so we actually have that here. So yeah, I think we've lost an hour. Oh, we gained an hour. But it gets darker an hour earlier, something like that. So cool. Queef's in the house as well. Another Hex Token channel member. Looking good. Bitfinex as well. Something's wrong with the audio. All I hear are starving ducks. Is that right? Yeah, we haven't got any ducks on, have we? Have we got any ducks? Let me just double check. Got my audio. Let's put on some ducks. Let's go. Let's put it on. We'll put it on 25, so it's not that the right, I think. So let's put it on 25, and we've got the ducks. Feeding the Ducks, our favorite soundtrack, and we're going to get into that. Nice one, Bitfinex. Appreciate the reminder. Let's get into the main presentation. Then we're going to get into all the rest of the good stuff after that. How PulseChain launch will work. So this is going to be a short presentation, and of course they've got the thumbs up from the guy there. I've got to make sure we've got the thumbs up there. Very cool. Let's go. So we've got PulseChain expected launch process. We've got the first thing at the top there. We've got a fork block height pre-PulseChain launch at question mark. So obviously that's very important because it reflects the biggest airdrop in crypto history. So a lot of people will be wanting to have their tokens accumulate their positions and their favorite tokens for the PulseChain launch. And of course, how will Richard talk about the block height? So is it going to be secret, or is he going to give us a couple of days notice? Obviously, I think the 3 or 4 days notice would be the most fundamental thing. A week's quite long, and a day's too short. Sort of just right in the middle there, 3 or 4 days. Once again, I think there's going to be a few surprises. So things. This is about the things that we do know. But I think there's going to be a couple of things that we do not know, and so we will expect a few surprises in there as well. Of course, once the block height if it is known pre-launch, which I suspect it should be, rather than being just launching the chain. Here's the chain's launch. You don't know what the block is. If you were lucky, you were lucky. If you didn't muck around, that sort of thing. We've got the PulseChain launch is the second step, of course. And of course, that's when the chain actually goes live. This is the mainnet chain, not the testnet. So at the moment, we're going through our third testnet, 2B. But of course, we had PulseChain testnet 1, PulseChain testnet 2, now 2B. And of course, we may or may not have a PulseChain testnet version 3. So we'll just have to wait and see where Richard goes with that. We know that pretty much most things are done except for V3 liquidity, and of course that may or may not be in the launch. And of course that's on testing on private test networks, and of course also some of the edge case for the sacrifices. But most of the sacrifices look pretty good so far for PulseX and PulseChain. And so PulseChain launches next, bar those two things. And of course, at the moment, I have the earliest date, maybe late April, early May at this stage. It's kind of in that ballpark. AMM bot, of course, is the third phase there. So that's AMM stands for automatic market maker bot, and of course, multiple DEX harvesting, the PRC 20s and ERC 20s there. Runs circa, so the PRC 20 is what you get on the other side on PulseChain. ERC 20 is what's running on Ethereum. And of course, the ERC 20 is going to get all copied in the biggest airdrop. So that block height was very important, because if you've got your tokens in that block height, you will get the PRC 20s. And of course, the DEX is going to harvest, the AMM bot is going to harvest those PRC 20s and swap over Pulse. And of course, make sure the ratio 1.2 million Pulse to 1 ETH circa to make that market cap relate to each other in terms of the value. And of course, that looked like it could be circa 2. So circa means approximately 2.25 PLS will be minted of the total supply of PLS. So we already have a total supply of PLS based on the sacrifices, based on the origin account, based on the 1% for what we don't expect for others. And of course, on top of that, we need PLS for the liquidity pools. And so that's Richard gave us the latest number that he thinks it's actually going to be as low as 2.25. The range previously was about 2.5 to 5%. So that looks pretty cool. The less that PLS that minted, the better. But we'll see how that goes at the end of the day. The next thing of step, of course, is the AMM bot really is what prints money out of thin air, although it doesn't have a particular dollar value to it. It's printing those tokens out of the air, and also takes away a lot of the economic control away from people that have on ERC 20s as such with the PLS trading ratio. So it actually works to support the system while also giving the airdrops. A really, really cool feature. PulseX liquidity pairs will be set up, of course, through that AMM bot process, but they'll have zero value. And of course, staking PLS for validators. Now, I expect there to be, probably about 4 validators, maybe 3 or 4 validators up and running straight off the bat, plus probably some reliable third-party validators, maybe like David Feder and others that are a pretty close connection to the devs that are running the thing. So we should have quite a few validators up and running, because when you go from testnet to mainnet, you need to make sure the chain is really operating as designed with those 3-second blocks. So you want it to be pretty strong straight out of the gate. So expecting a lot of that. We're going to look at a lot of this stuff later on, and I think that's really important. And of course, also staking Hex. Obviously, when the PulseChain goes live, all the tokens are in the blockchain, and of course that includes the sacrifice tokens. And so people will have PLS and PLX, and of course be able to stake that on they'll be able to stake the Hex on the go.hex, and also be able to potentially stake your app if it's up and running version 2. And of course, also a PLS will be able to be staked with validators straight on to help rank the validators. Remember, top 33 will be running to support the blockchain, confirm the blocks and the transactions, and have it running up nice and smooth with that sweet speed of 3-second blocks. So that's around about 4 or 5 times faster than the Ethereum blockchain. And of course, then we've got next after that ratio trading. So people obviously have all their airdrop tokens, the sacrifice tokens will be distributed, and so people will be able to ratio trade. We talked a lot about this in most sessions that we have on the live stream. And so ratio trading 1 to 2 days. Now there's pretty much that could be a vague launch there in the to avoid gaming of the system if there is any potential a chance of doing that, but the timing between the official bridge coming out 1 to 2 days is the case. So we've got ratio trading in there, and then of course we've got the airdrop and sacrifice beneficiaries. Then next step up, of course, is the bridge, which opens up. We've covered that on this channel. We're going to look at it again later in after this presentation, or included in this presentation. And of course, that will open up the dollars. And what's so important about the stable coins is because the stable coins will be bridged over from Ethereum, and they are officially backed with custodial control and backed by US dollars. Well, at least they're supposed to be backed by US dollars, although we haven't seen a lot of audits forthcoming. But nevertheless, the market values them approximately around $1 for USDC, USD Tether, things like that, versus the US dollar, the fiat currency backed by the US Federal Reserve. So we've got bridge dollars that will then, after the ratio trading, that will actually then add real dollar prices to that. What happens to the PRC 20 stable coins is going to be subject to market, and of course the custodial ownership of the centralized ones. We've talked about that in previous live streams. So we've got the liquidity there, and of course when they get the dollars over, that's going to put US dollar values to that. And of course PulseX trade, we're going to have then people will be able to trade with US dollar values on there, and that's when we're going to really see how valuable PulseChain and of course PulseX and the rest of all the tokens are as the market furthers its price discovery. And that's the main event, of course, a lot of people will be waiting for. Of course, people will be able to check there on erc20s.com. We'll be able to check their airdrop potential, and of course that's when we spread the word about this is what's the value of your current airdrop over on PulseChain if you had your tokens in the block height, which is our first step. And of course that means that that more people will come with the fastest way to mass adoption. So pretty exciting stuff there. We'll have liquidities, we'll have farms, and we'll have pools, and of course supply and demand will determine the price levels ultimately of these asset values. So it's going to be a lot of fun, folks. And that is kind of the expected launch process. Now there may be a few things in addition to this, or a few things different, but that's kind of the order at this stage. So we've got that. Here's a bit of a summary in the timeline. So PulseChain launch, automatic market maker, validators, stake PLS, PulseX ratio trading, and PulseChain bridge opens 1 or 2 days later there. So it's going to be pretty awesome. Now that bridge, of course, is it does wrapped tokens, so it wraps the tokens and sends it gets over on the bridge there, and so that's going to be fun to see all that play out. So pretty cool. That is pretty much the first two there: PulseChain expected launch process and the timeline. And of course, that is the first 2 slides. We're going to go on to the third slide here. So what is the ecosystem going to look like approximately? Now, obviously, Richard is a man full of surprises. Richard Hart, the founder, of course, of PulseChain, PulseX, and Hex. And of course, he's full of surprises. So you never know what might be an addition or slightly different with the gamification here and other things. So just to stay tuned for that. I always like surprises. Hope you do too. So we've got starting PulseChain ecosystem. We've got PulseChain blockchain explorers. We've got the links there. We've got the PulseX DEX exchange, of course, and we've played on all these things. We've got the Hex staking with the go.hex, and of course Staker app version 2 will be useful. Of course, there's also Hedron where you can make HSI stakes as well. That should all be up and running. Pulse staking validators, of course, is also up in house there, staking your Pulse, and of course the PulseChain bridge there, pulseramp.com with wrapped tokens there. So taking the native token and then wrapping it up for the bridge. So then, of course, possibly we could have third-party bridges and dApps. Now, they may or may not be in there straight away. Some of them may be straight away. So we're going to see what actually gets revealed. We could have, we haven't heard from TrustSwap for a long time. Things like that have been working on this ecosystem. I think we're going to see a lot of, pretty much dApps and products appear out of nowhere, and it's going to be a lot of fun for sure. So that is kind of the starting PulseChain ecosystem. And of course, that will just be built upon, right? Be built upon on top. And of course, then we've got the pretty much a summary of this. We've got the PulseChain blockchain. We've got the validators, PulseX, go.hex, PulseChain bridge, and third-party dApps there as well. Now I've got 30-party dApps over here, but that's I don't know what added that over there because we've already got over here. But that's pretty much what we've got here at the moment. So pretty cool. We've got a question mark over some of the ones that will probably come up in terms of launching. We're going to look at a couple of those in this live stream, so I hope you guys enjoy that. Very cool. Let us jump over to, that is the end of the presentation. It's a nice short and sweet one, very punchy, and of course let's just have one more review there. We've got the expected launch process. We've got the launch timeline. It's kind of a summarize that. We've got the starting ecosystem, the minimum viable product, and a few extras. And of course, pretty much that's summarized graphically as well. So that's it there. Let's jump over to some of these components. Now we're going to have a look at them a bit more in depth. So we're going to check that out. We've got PulseChain running, of course. This PulseChain testnet V2B. You can see it at the top there, and it's running at 3-second blocks, looking really nice. And of course, we've got 434 million transactions there at the moment almost 15 million blocks. So running very, very nice. And of course, that is based on a certain block height as well, where it started. So if you didn't have tokens in that block height on Ethereum, you will not see them on PulseChain. You have to wait until we get to the mainnet block for the airdrop. So that's why it's a good time to accumulate any positions that you're going to have, ERC20s and stuff like that. So it's very important for that. Secondly, of course, we've got PulseX up and running. And man, is it looking good? We've got the exchange, the liquidity, we've got the farms and the pools all up and running. And of course, the farms have the incentive token. So if you check on that, you can pretty much, if you're putting liquidity into the pool, you can earn incentive tokens, and that's really, really cool. They've got different APRs on that. Of course, this is all just fictitious numbers at the moment, but this is where you're going to be able to earn passive income. And of course, also the pools there, we can say stake PulseX and earn PRT party token. That's kind of a placeholder. We have a few pools in there potentially, and of course they could also be voted on. These two can be voted on with the voting tab. So we've got up at the ellipsis there, you can hit the voting there, and of course we can get in and make proposals about incentives and other projects and things like that. You typically see that a lot on PancakeSwap. They'll have a lot of farm incentive changes, votes, and all sorts of stuff like that. Potentially new features as well. That's probably what could go in there too. So that's pretty awesome. Cool. So yeah, let me just actually got something popped up there. Let me just post that. So yeah, with the proposal, it could have lots of other stuff on there. Just trying to see where I am at the moment. So yeah, with the proposal, you could have a lot of. Just gotta get rid of. Oh, what? Let me get rid of this. Sorry, I just had something pop up there on the computer. Just trying to get rid of it. Gonna get rid of the thing. Have to wait for a second there, so I get rid of the screen. Can't see it on the video, so that's fine. So yeah, we're gonna have voting, and the voting's gonna have, like I say, farm incentives, potentially features and stuff like that updated. So we covered that in PancakeSwap the other day, all the stuff that they're doing over there. So it's got cool opportunities there for people to actually participate in the direction of PulseX. So it's a pretty big deal. So yeah, so hopefully I can get access. Cool, got access again, nice. And yeah, we also got the burn. Of course, this is the magic behind PulseX with the buy and burn, a callable public function or public callable function. And of course, people will be able to earn a little bit of PLX every time they help out burning. We've got all the LP tokens down the side here, and of course the value there. Look at Hex PLS there, $881 value there. You can obviously claim that. That would end up giving you 1,000 PulseX as a bounty. That's 88 cents at the moment, so that would be pretty attractive. And of course, all you have to do is hit the burn there, and you'll be able to get those tokens. So that's pretty exciting. So you got that in house. And those are the main stuff there. So we've got the PulseChain running and PulseX. This is all going to be running live though when mainnet starts. We're going to have staking your Hex on go.hex.com, and of course maybe Staker app version 2 and a few other things. So very exciting. We're also going to have staking Pulse with the validators, so we can stake our Hex on PulseChain. Stake out. This is the Hex on PulseChain is the PulseChain Hex, or PHEX as we commonly call it. And of course, you'll be able to stake your PLSX with the validators here. You can see I've already got some PLS there staked there, 850,000 test pulse there. So you'll be able to choose a validator, and obviously we've got HODL there at number 3. Looks good to see some of the names back up there. At least looks like only HODL at this stage has renamed it, so the feature must be back up there. HODL has renamed it, so you can stake your pulse with that. That's basically, you can earn a passive income with the pulse there. You can earn a passive income with the Hex, of course, and of course with PulseX you can earn a passive income in the farms, pools, and liquidity, which is pretty awesome. And of course you can trade for capital gain in the exchange there if you're going to speculate on assets. So very, very cool. And you've got so much passive income when this launches. And then of course we've got the bridge here. So this is where you're going to have wrap tokens. And of course, we've done this earlier today in the earlier live stream, just swapping between Ethereum and PulseChain. And this is going to be very cool by wrapping tokens and getting those sort of tokens there. So pretty cool. I just realized how much Pulse got on there. It's pretty nice. Right, so that's the stuff that's going to be there. So those are kind of all the things that we're going to have: validators, PulseX, the Go.Hex, PulseChain bridge, and potentially third-party dApps. So let's look at some of those. Let's go and look at some of those. We've got Mintra here. Now, Mintra has got this up and running. This is a sneak peek of their user interface. They posted on Twitter. Now, Mintra is going to be an NFT marketplace. We've got a very well-known YouTuber in the space, Gerardo, that's kind of the face of this project, to be honest. And of course, the software team sitting behind them, and they're well advanced with this this project. This actually looks very, very exciting. The UI. So if you've actually sacrificed for the Mintra project, you should be pretty excited about the quality of the UI here. And of course, they're going to have staking in here. You can see staking, unstaking, the rewards, the transaction history. You've got the total mint supply here, stake supply, and average APY at the top here. So it's pretty cool. You got your wallet over on the right here, and of course the Mintra USDC chart, which will be linked up to PulseChain, PulseX here when it goes live. So you'll be able to see Mintra now. I think I've actually got Mintra on some of this stuff here. I've got Mintra. No, I haven't got Mintra. And oh yeah, I have got Mintra there. I've got 16 Mintra. How about that? So you'll be able to see the Mintra price there, probably in terms of USDC. So one Mintra at the moment is 88 or 89 cents there. It's up 18%. So pretty cool. And of course, you can see that over a longer period of time frame there, how it's been trading. So that's going to be super exciting for the Mintra holders there. I think this UI looks absolutely amazing. And I actually never sacrificed for the Mintra project. Looking at this UI, I wish I did now. But man, oh man, that is so good. Maybe if they had given a few of these sneak peeks a bit earlier, probably would have done that. But well done to everybody that has sacrificed. This also looks like this could be out. They're looking possibly to try and do a test net of this, maybe in version 2B, unless version 3 comes out, possibly within the next week. So that looks pretty positive that they'll do that. Of course, the other thing is otherwise they're going to be launching pretty soon after PulseChain. So this could be one of the earliest third-party dApps that was part of part of the sacrifice processes that could be up and running pretty quick out of the gate. So it's going to be interesting to see some of those. Obviously, we also got Power City. Now, we just watched this about 2 hours ago, or an hour and a half ago. Power City give a presentation of their transformer bridge. Now, this is not about wrap tokens like the official PulseChain bridges. This is basically swapping and transferring from any other chain over, or lots of other chains over to PulseChain. And of course, that basically you don't need, say, the liquidity requirement, and you can get tokens that you want to transfer from one blockchain to another blockchain with this transformer bridge. So it's a different functionality. But man, it does look very exciting. They haven't done all the UI stuff yet, so it's just got a very basic UI at this stage. But they did show us all the transactions, how it works behind the scenes there on the blockchain, and it looks really cool. So very positive. Now, their minimum viable product at the moment, they're looking at having this transformer bridge up and running, multi-chain, and of course they're also looking to have the core product, which is kind of where all their businesses feed into in terms of revenue and staking and stuff like that, where you stake the Watt token. And they're also looking to have the NFT marketplace. So those are their minimum viable product, and they're going to try and, at least regarding the bridge, get that up as soon as possible after PulseChain launch. So very exciting stuff coming to PulseChain straight out of the gate. And of course, some of these are very popular with the community because they've been sacrificed for, so there's a lot of commitment to them as well, a lot of chance of good user adoption. So I think that's pretty exciting. And what else we got here? So yeah, we've got all that going on. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that. That is some of the stuff there. I actually think we've got a lot of other projects like TrustSwap and others doing stuff behind the scenes that haven't been part of the sacrifice phase, but are looking to come onto PulseChain and have already announced that a long time ago. So I think there's going to be a lot of projects that pop up that are going to really add a lot of value. So it's going to be fun, folks. And don't forget, every project is going to get airdropped, copied over 500,000 token contracts listed on Etherscan. And so that's a huge amount of projects, tokens coming over. So yeah, it's going to be fun, folks. Really cool. And of course, yeah, let's just watch and see how it goes. Now, there may be a few things. This is what we know so far. And of course, there may be a few extra things which I'm expecting in addition to this. So we'll just have to wait for Richard Hart to guide us with that as he announces things coming up. So hope you enjoyed that. As a quick summary of how PulseChain launch will work, at least what we know so far. And yeah, we'll update that as we get the information in the future, maybe prior to PulseChain launching. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Hope you enjoyed that. Anyway, in any case, we've got a few other things too. So we're going to talk about PulseCon because it's pretty important. It's coming up. But first of all, let's get into the chat and say hello. We've got a lot of comments in there, so I'm going to have to catch up on that. We've got Brennan with the thumbs up there, looking pretty good. And thumbs up for the PulseChain mainnet. Yeah, absolutely. And Ninjas in House did Hedron symbol disappear on TradingView for anyone else. I didn't even know it was on there, Ninja. Didn't even know it had been listed on TradingView. What else we got? Got a few other comments here. Let's jump through some of these. Raul G's in house from Spain. Good to see us for Raul. And we've also got Tintop in there. G'day, says Tintop. Nice to see you again. Sandeep in the house from Calcutta, India. Big shout out to you. And Ninja says, I foresee lots of people getting wrecked in that ratio trading. That's true too. Actually, I had that up. Did I miss that? I had the ratio trading. Here's the ratio trading that we're talking about. So this is a website someone's done here to help with ratio trading. So I haven't actually gone through that in depth myself, but that is definitely in the house there for ratio trading to help people. Ninja says, and I hope people that get into LP polls do the research, and permanent loss is a real thing. That's absolutely true. So two really good comments there from Ninja. Joshua says, hey, good evening. Hope for a 2050x PulseX launch with a dump to around 2 to 5x levels for the 1000x pump there, says Joshua. Yeah, that's probably not too bad numbers there, Joshua. But I think it's going to be interesting out of the gate there. I think there's a lot of demand for PulseChain. And it's going to be a really fun ride to see that play out. Obviously, with a lot of new buyers coming in, particularly through the airdrop before the bridge opens up and after the bridge opens, with people being able to bridge funds over, that we should see Pulse and PulseX get redistributed, including Hex on Pulse as well. And of course, all the tokens get redistributed to a whole ton of users because they'll be wanting to buy those. They don't have any of them, and they'll be wanting to buy them. So we're going to see a big increase in distribution of tokens as well. So that's going to be something cool. Brownie says, good afternoon, fellow Hexagons. Say, good to see you, Brownie. Always a pleasure. Let's go. Yeah, absolutely. Francis is in the house. I love Jesus with the green hearts. Love that. Nice. And let's have a look here. Josh says, too expensive. Why not 2 to 1? Yeah. Well, we actually got, let's have a look on the Pulse there. We've actually got, our cheap peer here, Pulse and PulseX, which seems to be very popular on the tokens there. Actually, you can go to info there on the voting. You can see the tokens here at the top. These are the top tokens, Pulse and PulseX and X and number 3. 1, 2, and 3. Is that what Richard said? 1, 2, and 3. And there we are. We've got, even on the testnet, we've got 1, 2, and 3. I guess that's not too surprising, but that's pretty cool. I notice we've also got Mintra down here, and we've got Hedron in there at number 9 and 10. And what we got, I'm pretty sure we had the incentive token down here at number 18 as well. So that's pretty cool. I don't know if, I think that's about it on that one. That's pretty cool. I noticed the volumes are falling off on the trading. That's because this is a test net. So if you see the volume falling off here, it's just because it's a test net. People are not, people play around for a lot at the beginning, but not so much during as time goes until the mainnet. The mainnet won't look like this at all. People will be actively trading every day because it will be real money. So pretty cool. I'm expecting possibly volumes like this for a long time. In fact, increasing with these volumes. I'm excited. If we get $1 billion worth of trade volume, that's about $700,000 worth of buy and burn, which would make this buy and burn function very, very lucrative. And of course, it's going to be interesting to see. Now, I do wonder whether they will consolidate some of this buy and burn. It's going to be interesting to see what they do with this. I do probably see another reiteration of this at the moment. So should be fun. Someone's already claimed that bonus that was on there, the $880 or whatever. Someone claimed that, so I missed out on that. But hey, that's fun. That's the only fun thing to do. All right, cool. Let's go into some more of the comments there. Tinta says it's cheap if it goes 1001x. Yeah, that's probably true. Hodl Fours in the house says if you want a warning to launch, watch the validators on testnet. When they start dropping off and testnet slows down, the launch is near. I think that's a very good point there, Hodl 4. The only caveat to that, of course, is whether we actually have PulseChain testnet version 3 or not. And that would the reason to have that would to have to have version 3 liquidity. But Richard may tried, based on the way he's talking last time, he may try to not have that and may possibly just go to mainnet, of course. But like I say, it'll be interesting to see what gamification around the block height we get, because I think that's probably important. Once again, Richard's the master of these things, so we'll see what he comes up with there. And it says my pulse sac rate is the same as my PLS sac rate, 10,000 to $1. Yeah, that's true. On the base amount, yeah. And Jay, everything says that's earlier pays better type of approach. Cameron says just bought a new swimming trunks. Nice. You might be able to sell those, trade those on PulseX there, Cameron. 4 more weeks, says Joshua. 4 more weeks. So 4 more weeks. Yeah, I've got the earliest date as the 18th of April, but like I said, late April, early May seems to be a pretty good time zone for launching there. Monty's in the house. Greetings, brother, from France. Great stream as usual. I appreciate that, Monty. Really is. I do really appreciate the kind words there. Tindot says everyone is going to want to swap into PLS ratio. Might go insane. I think so too. But the other thing, of course, is how much actual tokens are in the trading pool. That's going to be fascinating. I speculated earlier that we could have at least, possibly even a trillion pulse in the pool, Visa, both of them. So we know that we'll probably end up with a total amount, ballpark, maybe about 233 trillion. I better double check my numbers there. 133 trillion, I think it is, Pulse, and versus about 123 trillion PulseX. I think that's the total ratios. Might double check that, but I think that is the total. But I was just thinking that in terms of the public amount, we might end up possibly even having a trillion, and then that could in the pools, and that could end up going down to about 300 or 400 billion. That's kind of my guess. This is just ballpark numbers, but that'd be about 3% of the public supply, and of course starting maybe at 7-8% down to 3%. It'll be interesting to see whether that does happen at the launch. So that'd be interesting, because obviously the biggest the liquidity is, the harder it is to move the price. So it's going to be interesting to see what that looks like as well. It's not just supply and demand, but that liquidity that's in the pool that moves the price up and down. Tintot says very limited supply, will even be on the market. Mine is getting staked till LL launches on the Pulse. That's interesting, Tintot. Really good perspective. So a lot of people might be like that too, but there's always people willing to sell down, right? Always there's people for the short game. So it's going to be interesting to that. But once that bridge opens up, it's we don't even need a bridge open up. People getting airdrops, they're beginning in this tradable pools, a lot of those ERC20 tokens, especially the valuable ones. We could see a lot of distribution of PLS and PLX for people that decide to trade that away. That's going to be a bit weird, but really it's the bridge opening up that's probably going to be the main thing that people will let go for US dollars, and so as opposed to some other tokens. But it's going to be fascinating to watch that. We will see. A lot of people not talking much about the speculation of other tokens, Uni token, Chainlink, stuff like that. I know Shiba's had a fair amount of talk, but that could be a lot of value opportunity there, especially as those tokens get priced up, potentially converging on the Ethereum value. So that'd be pretty amazing. It's now says sup peoples, woo. Hey, good to see it's now in the house. We've got the foreman in the house there. PulseX Whale Shark says, woohoo, becoming a whale is easier than I thought. Yeah, that's part of the thing about PulseChain, right? Is the ability to become a whale. So I think that's pretty, you can pick up a lot of those tokens that you are valuable over on Ethereum, and if people are not valuing them correctly, in other words, over time they'll be valued up. Because people that we do get a lot of if PulseChain and everything else is successful, we get high trade volumes. All those assets, all those popular assets, actively traded assets that are high value, will get priced up. And I think a very good chance they'll head towards conversion. Even some of them are possible at a premium because of how cheap PulseChain is, especially if some of the user interfaces get supported as well, depending on the tokens and dApps and things. Could be fascinating to see that play out. Imagine tokens worth more. Some of the leading tokens worth more on PulseChain than they are on Ethereum. That's something. That's sights for sore eyes. That would be nice. Sexy graphics, says Cal. Yes, sexy graphics for sure. Top 1% sacrifice at LFG. Oh, are you kidding me? Wow, that's awesome. I made it. Can you bridge PLS6 over to ETH? Can you bridge over to ETH? So I don't know if I've actually done that. Actually, let me just double check. Have I done that? I haven't got on the list, but I think you possibly can add the token on there. It's not on my list here though, but that's interesting. I actually haven't thought about that. Maybe I'll try that offline. I won't do it online, but maybe someone else has tried that. Let me know in the chat. Hello, family, says Francis. You should be able to, I presume, just by adding the token. Yeah, I won't do it on live because if it mucks around, then it won't be useful. Francis says, big hearts on there. Hello, guys, says Francis. Woo-hoo-hoo. Yeah, Francis is definitely as excited as I am, so that's nice. Tindot says, I literally laughed out loud when people talk about 2 to 1 or even 4 to 1. My PLS is way more valuable to me. You got to really want it. A buyer at 2 or 4 to 1. Yeah, I think that's probably a good point there, Tindot, especially with the long game. Yeah. Cal says, put a small sack in Mintra, missed out on Power City. Yeah, well, Power City's still open, right? But it's 1 to 1. So you're talking about whether it was 2 to 1 or 1.75 to 1. But you also got the 55% bonus. So, yeah, it's still open. TikTok says, woohoo, g'day all. Hey, Tic Tacs, good to see you in the house. And what else? Brent says, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Definitely share. If you can share the channel around, that helps a lot as we're trying to head the channel up towards the next target is 4,800 subscribers. So if you haven't subscribe, please subscribe. We're going to be talking non-stop about Hex, PulseChain, and the ecosystem, including PulseX. It's going to be a lot of fun. Abit says launch soon. Yeah, Abit's like, yeah, launch soon. Man, how much content will you have, Abit, when PulseChain is launched? How much content will you have for your wonderful, I say wonderful presentations, because they are fantastic. Man, if I wasn't so far away, Abit, I would definitely be going to some of your presentations where you do onboarding and introducing people to the wonderful world of the heart ecosystem, as we say. G'day from WA, says Hex for my kids. Hey, good to see you. Welcome, of course, Western Australia. Kevin D's in the house as well. Let's let the ducks out. The ducks are out. I've got the music on. Are just silent at the moment. It's just rolling over, but the music's on. I have got the sound at about got the sound at 25. I could turn it up a little bit. Let's turn up to 28. That might be cool. Hey all, says Kevin D. And Hardy Lan says, will the staked Hex, that's eHex, be staked when we get the copy? Yes. So if you've got staked Hex on Ethereum, you will also, that will get copied over to PulseChain. You'll have staked Hex on PulseChain, and of course, so you'll have 2 copies earning you passive income on both chains. Pretty awesome, eh? Is that awesome? I think it's pretty awesome. And of course, the price will fluctuate on both chains, obviously, but you'll have 2 stakes there with passive income. And of course, if you've got liquid Hex on Ethereum, that'll also get copied over to PulseChain. So it's a win-win, right? It's a beautiful thing. We did a whole live stream on that earlier today on the fact that if you think you've missed out on PulseX, as well, mixed out on 10,000x on Hex price. You can buy it now for 2,600x or so, and of course get the copy on PulseChain and get all those X's in the bag straight away. I mean, because I think that the prices will just price up and converge. It's kind of like a stock split with Hex that maybe if it's worth 16 cents, 8 cents each on each chain, and then maybe PulseChain will get priced up to a slight premium. But at the moment, of course, on PulseChain, don't forget, if we go back to the presentation, we've got oh man, we've got this one here. Let me just scroll back there. We've got the value. Value is at zero value. Remember, so it starts off at 0 value. There's no value applied, and of course, we're really open for the bridge to come in with the stable coins to add that value. Although I do think that the stable copies, some of them will actually get priced up straight away. It's going to be fascinating for that. Like the DAI token, for example, particularly DAI token and stuff. So it'll be interesting. All right, cool. Let's jump over to that. We'll keep on that one there. We've got Tim Tops in the house, says, hey, Kevin. Silent Lurkers in the house, please post a link for ratio trading help page, please. Okay, I'll post that. Let me copy that tool. This is the rating trace. You might want to go through this and work out how that works. I haven't actually gone through it in depth myself, so I'm just posting that for you. It's a third-party site there. Looks pretty good, though. Looks pretty good. Cool. What else we got? 1% Club, says Yo Foster. Is there 2 people in the 1% Club? I'm not sure. Crypto RC says, whoop, whoop, from Portugal, I had to wake up as I was onboarding Hex in my sleep. Is that crazy? Is that crazy or what? Yeah, live and sleep, live, breathe and sleep. Is that the way to say it? Hex, PulseChain and stuff. Nice one there from Portugal. Portugal with no crypto taxes. Is that right? No crypto taxes. Your stakes will be staked on PulseChain. Yeah. Ratio trading PX to PLS. Any thoughts? Like what we've got here at the moment, we've got PLS to PulseX on testnet. You can see it's one for $2.65 PulseX at the moment. I think that the numbers are fictional, of course, but the direction is probably an obvious trend. We talked about that earlier today, that PulseX will be the #1 token that people are after. A lot of people missed it for missed the sacrifice, and they went into PulseX to trade PulseX for Pulse. I think that's one derivative, one driving force, I should say. We also know that people that are buying, some people are buying Hex, particularly retail, smaller retail people that missed out on PulseChain are buying Hex to trade that for Pulse. So I think Pulse will be the advantage. Now, at the moment we've got 2.65 as the ratio, but will one Pulse. So we've got Pulse there. That means one, and of course the Pulse X there is 2.66. Just if you so you're not confused what that is. You can actually swap it around here by just changing this feature here. So one Pulse X will get you 0.379 Pulse. That's how that works there. So if that explains it for you. Cool. And you can see over the last weeks that we've had, that's pretty much stayed the same. In fact, Pulse was even worth more, but earlier you could get over three Pulse X per Pulse. I think that obviously this is fictional because it's only a testnet, but I think that that it will be at a premium. In other words, this will be Pulse will be able to get, it will be greater than Pulse X in terms of its value. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. It could do some extreme things. It could be do some silly numbers depending on how much Pulse and Pulse X are in the pools after the meme bot runs and after people add liquidity. It's going to be pretty fascinating to see how that plays out. It's going to be crazy, man. I don't really want to make too much of a call on it. Like I say, could it start off with a ton of Pulse and Pulse X in the pools? Are we talking about 1 trillion versus themselves? Obviously split over different pairings, because if you go to the info there, you can actually see that when you look at a token on the leaderboard, you can jump into the Pulse token here. For example, you can see the volume, liquidity on this token and the prices. But of course, that is the different pools here spread across all these. So there's Pulse X, Pulse S, USDC. Obviously, this will be probably the two big ones here, and then of course Hex Pulse as well. So you can see that already, even though there's testnet stuff, they're really already the top three there. We also have a PRT party Pulse, because a lot of people are earning party in the pool and then selling it for Pulse pretty much. That's what's happening there. We've also got Hedron PLS down here, interesting ones here, Mintra as well. So we're going to have a lot more other ones though. I think we'll have, obviously have probably, a lot of the top tokens, ERC20s will be battling in here for top tokens. And this order will change over time, in my view, as we see some of those ERC20s get priced up. So the real PulseChain launches and PulseX is going to be quite a lot different. I think that, but I think some of these top ones will be similar. So the ones that in the top there, a couple will be similar. But I think the top 10 could be quite different from this, as people really, they're after Chainlink, they're after Uni token, they're after, they're after all these other ones and these projects. Although they're they're native projects to PulseChain like Mintra, it'll be interesting to see how they compete with the ERC20s that get airdropped over as PRC20s. That's all uncertain. A lot of people don't know, but I tend to think that they're going to be pretty big. I'm going to be doing a live stream on that tomorrow. You guessed it. That's where we're heading, folks. I think you guys are going to like the direction of that. I think it's going to be pretty cool, and we're going to talk more about that stuff tomorrow. So stay tuned for that. Very, very cool. All right, so let's get back in the chat there. We're going to. Finbear says, "Good morning from freezing Finland, guys. Keep your heads as cool, but try to get the toes in a warm place." I bet it is in Finland. So all the rest. We've got people in Portugal, hot Portugal. I guess Portugal goes hot even at this time of year. And then we've got Finland, cold up in the winter there. Or just coming out of winter, I guess it is. Hardy Lan says, "Thank you. I hope to get my stake as free PX." Yes. Where else we got in the house there? Let's jump through some of these comments. Going all the way down here. Hex King's in the house. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. J-Man's in the house. Woo-hoo-hoo. Good to see you guys in the house, man. Miles of Crypto, man, I'm just loving this community. It's really growing really well. And yeah, just keep spreading the word. Tell people, like obviously, maybe there's 100 content creators in the space, but you guys out there far more important. You get out there, you spread the word just to friends, neighbors, lots of places like that. Someone was saying, I think on the Magic Carpet Ride show, I think they were saying that they had talked to somebody that they were talking at home, and then someone came in to do some service work for the house, and they said, what are you doing? What's this PulseChain? And then they just started talking about PulseChain and onboarding them. So everybody out there, everybody in the community can do that. It's just like telling 1 or 2 people has that huge network effect. And of course, it's going to be a lot of fun, a lot of value opportunity for sure. We got Miles says PulseChain will change the game by 2029. We're going to be the cat's meow. I like that, Miles. Thanks, says Hardy Lan. Nice. Tintop's got the animals in the house. You're getting creative there, Tintop, for sure. That is the link there to the PulseChain ratio tool. There's a third party. Someone posted that. The developer posted that on the chat here. So definitely check that. Silent Lurker says, thank you, Hex Token. A pleasure. It is a pleasure. And as I said, we're moving full time on this channel to cover Hex, PulseChain, and PulseX. You're going to see probably at least 2 live streams and some pre-recorded videos. Going to get into a lot more how-to videos. They're going to be shorter. So even though I'm doing live streams, which are kind of got a longer format, I will be doing a lot of short how-to videos that are going to be, for people. But nevertheless, in the live streams, there will be timestamps as well. And I will be doing some late night shows as well with around Hex price and trading and stuff like that. So it should be a lot of fun too. Andre says, is there a point to scoop a PHEX before bridge open, possibly 100, 1000X on new chain or any kind of parity? I agree with you, Andre. I think that there are people that are going to want to pick up Hex, that is PHEX or Hex on the Pulse chain early. And that's what I say. That's my goal is to pick up distributed more PLS, more PLX, and more PHEX or Hex on Pulse chain. So yeah, I definitely agree with that. Like I say, if a lot of people are buying Pulse, that means the ratio flips away, and of course that means if you're wanting to get PHEX and Hex, PHEX and or Hex on Pulse chain and PulseX, that's going to be a better ratio for you, right? So you can pick up a lot. There'll be people looking at that. It's going to be hardcore, crazy, man. It's going to be a lot of fun. Greg says people will get wrecked at the trade. PLSX will earn more in the short term, especially if the party coin is a big earner. Yeah, that's true. I'll stake Hex that gets copied over. How will I stake on PulseChain? So you'll use the same interface. So you use go.hex to stake your Hex on PulseChain. You just have to switch over your MetaMask to while you're using to PulseChain mainnet when it goes live, and you'll be able to stake your Hex that you've got there. So if you've got Liquid X on Ethereum, they'll get copied over to PulseChain. You'll be able to stake that on PulseChain. If you've got stakes on Ethereum, they'll automatically get copied over to PulseChain, and you'll be able to see them. They'll be already set up for you down here. You can see there's one here set up, but that will happen too. Catherine's got the ducks in the house. Smash those likes, says Kevin D. Greg says it will be a cold winter here in New Zealand with Cindy pulling the strings. Greg, she's a nightmare. Man, we're in such a set up system now here. The mainstream media, you know how it works. It's true in a lot of these Western. It's just horrible, man. These guys they're just crazy people. Crazy. And yeah, you triggered me there, Greg. You triggered me. Terran says full time, baby. Let's go. Yeah. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Nice. Cal says PLS and PLSX starting at 0 on day 1. Who's buying? Lol. Yeah, that's true. So remember, these tokens will be starting with from zero. So it's going to be a gold rush. It's going to be a gold rush. And if you want to become a whale in particular tokens, you could actually accumulate them. So a lot of people will be, imagine a lot of people looking at PulseChain and they're accumulating PulseChain. But meanwhile, some people are saying, I'm going to get all these uni tokens and all these Chainlink tokens and all these other tokens, right? And they're going to get heaps of volume in that. And then they play this. Maybe they don't get priced up as fast as PulseChain, but then they play the game, and over time, because they've got so much volume, it goes up in value. So there will be a lot of gamification going on with all these tokens. And as more successful PulseChain is, the higher value, the more convergence I see in these PRC20 tokens, particularly the high value ones, maybe the top, 50, 100, 200 tokens. It's going to be pretty interesting. A lot of strategy in the place. I'd really look through and think about some of those as well as we lead in there. It's going to be pretty fascinating. David Scott, woo, nice. Hey, Lance says, what is the price dump on Hex? The wild dancing going down. I'm so bored about that. Yeah, well, I think it's just because we're in that sideways motion at the moment with the product. Let's jump over to we'll jump over to the Hex price shortly. Let's jump over to PulseCon. Now this is counting down 6 days here. I think this is the early tickets. So PulseCon obviously is going to be open arms to all the communities that come on to PulseChain. And yeah, this is coming up 6 days to get tickets. So if you're in the United States or you're able to travel there to Las Vegas, the world's largest crypto conference, that potentially, I think there was 3,000 people that potentially be there, and going to be pretty awesome. You can also apply to be a speaker at the top there, which is pretty cool. Obviously, Richard Hart's going to be pretty much the keynote speaker at the conference. It's pretty exciting. Now, the conference itself is 153 days away, so just take that into account. But I think the early bird tickets are ending in 6 days here. It's got get tickets now, so just take into account that's starting to come, take its toll there. Early bird sale ends soon down here. Get tickets, get your email there. So cool, definitely get that. But yeah, the conference is actually going to be on 153 days, so it's counting down. What's that? 5 months? Yeah, 5 months away. Now it's going to be at Resorts World Hotel and Casino. It looks pretty amazing. Hoping to get team money in that on here probably in a few weeks time. I think it is maybe 2 weeks time or a week time to have a chat about this. So that should be a fun live stream. We've got all the tickets. These are tickets at the moment. I do understand that they're going to do custom tickets. These are standard tickets at the moment, and I think they've been selling out 5 for 5 tickets like hotcakes. That's pretty funny there. Yeah, they've got Rag to Riches going to be there. Wow, hats off to Rag to Riches. Man, oh man, this guy's just climbing through the ranks. So good to see Rag to Riches up on this headline crew. Very cool. This is Team Money on the left. He's organizing it. There's Lawrence Rowland here. I'm not too familiar with Lawrence Rowland, but maybe I have seen him more than I think, but I don't recognize him that much. Crypto Kool-Aid. I am familiar with the name there though. So cool. And what else we got going there? We've got the timeline there, the registration, and there's going to be lots of different people there as well. So very, very cool. All that cool stuff. There's loads more there. You can load heaps of it. So check that out. Pulse.com. I'll post that in the chat actually, just to make sure if you haven't want to check that out in your own time. Check out PulseCon. Like I say, only 6 days to go for early bird tickets. So you can have to get the tickets now there. Actually, I'll pop that up, see if that actually shows up. Does it show up? No, it doesn't show up there. You got to put your email in, I think, to make that happen. Now, you can get 15% off here too. So make sure you get that bonus there, 15% off the tickets. So early bird sale ends soon. I don't know if that includes or excludes the 15%. Just check that out as you go. Just make sure that you don't miss out on that. And I think that's it. Sponsors. Cool. We've got Mintra's in there as a sponsor and Freedom TV. Which is the one that's organizing this. So pretty cool. What was there else there? Nice. They've got lots of good stuff. So amazing website. I'm very impressed by this. They've got hotel rooms. What the hotel rooms look like, I'm not sure. Hilton Tower. Oh, these are the rooms that you could stay at if you actually stay at the hotel. Now they're having the conference and what's it, conference and an exhibition, so it's going to be fabulous. It's going to be really cool, and of course it's open to all projects to come on, so it's not just the Richard Hart ecosystem. It's Richard Hart ecosystem is really embracing all the projects if you think about it, because everyone's getting an airdrop of Ethereum from Ethereum projects onto PulseChain. So it really is world crypto domination, but to benefit of everybody. It's really awesome. So you can see the rooms are absolutely plush. Look at that, really, really nice rooms. It's only about 1.5 years old, so you'll be living in a pretty good style if you're able to pick up some of these rooms. So very, very nice there as well. Look at that, pretty cool. All right, so that's some of the good stuff there. We've got also the pool out. Look at this pool outside. Oh, that's just crazy good. Oh my goodness, I'm really loving this myself. I'm hashtag jealous there. And the cool, look at the purple there, like the colors there, the PulseChain. Man, oh man, that's one nice hotel as well. So only the best. PulseCon looks like it's going to go off, and potentially 3,000 people at it, which would be amazing. So hats off. Hopefully we'll get team money on this channel and get some really insights in here soon. All right, cool. Let's jump over the Hex price there. Hex price sitting at 14.77 cents. Just teasing us here in this bottom of this sort of channel now as we move forward. It's hard to make any sort of pendant or triangle or anything like that. One could zoom out and there's a bit of a bull flag possibly in there with the pole and the flag, and of course that may mean a massive break up to the upside. But at this stage, we're definitely just moving along here. We haven't broken down. There is a scenario where we break down to 12.5 cents, and then moon after that. But nothing at this stage. So cool. It is a time to accumulate, though. I would say time is ticking. PulseChain is as soon as we think it is, then this could be a very short-lived chance to pick up Hex. But like I say, you know, we have the support down at 10 cents, and you know, the somewhere in this range could definitely that's definitely in play with this volume here. We even had a big buy yesterday, but the market managed to sell it down, even down past that. That got us back to 15.7 cents. Remember, that was just in the last 24 hours, so we didn't manage to hold that. And yeah, here it was here, this pump here, this green pump. We had a nice pump there. And of course, the market managed to sell that down, but we're still sitting at 14.77. Obviously, with the cheaper price, you get more Hex, right? That's the way it goes, and you get a copy on the PulseChain. Pretty much that. We have, of course, the Hedron as well. Hedron looking not too bad. Hedron just below the middle of the Bollinger Bands, 2600 at the moment. And of course, I do have the chance that it's got a reasonable chance of slipping down to 2000 again, in my view. Although we've still got a higher low. I've got a higher low. We've got a slightly higher high there, and this was our first low there. So still intact, not yet in the 2000 scenario, slipping down to 2000. So probably a 60-40 at the moment for me. 60% up, 40% down is my kind of my feel about that. And of course, yeah, we'll see what happens. Yeah, not quite breaking down yet. Still got that high low. I think once it breaks down past, you know, maybe down to 2400, then 2000, maybe even lower down to 1700, we could dip down there before moving up higher. But at this stage, we've still got a little bit of a kind of a sideways uptrend movement. It's kind of where I feel. That's why I got a 60% on that at this stage. Let me know what you think in the chat. Cool. How much slippage we need when we swap on launch? Man, that's going to be tough, man. The trades could be massive percentage differences there. And as you can go to the tool up here, the default's 5%. There's also expert mode. This bypasses confirmation modals and allows high slippage trades. Use your own risk. And of course, that will give you a warning there. Expert modes turns off confirm transaction prompt and allows high speed slippage trades that often result in bad rates and lost funds. It is very, you know, you can use it, but it's very dangerous. You could end up with some pretty bad ratios if it's not playing out your way. Only use mode if you know what you're doing. So yeah, so this begin. I'm going to keep that off myself, but there we are, 0.5%. You can do custom. I'm not sure how high custom goes to. And seeing high slippage tolerance can help transactions succeed, but you may not get such a good price. Use with caution. I think it depends what you're buying though, because obviously with huge volumes that I'm expecting in the Pulse and PulseX, then you know the percentage movements. I don't know how many percent, unless big whales are playing at a particular time. That should probably be okay. We'll see. Cool. Yeah, I mean you may have maybe 5% slippage in there. Maybe 5% at the max. I know I wouldn't go much further myself. I'm not a big speculator, so yeah. I have done 5% stuff on higher moving volatility. That's probably is where I've left it. I haven't left it, you know, open-ended in that sense with the expert mode. So because it's kind of open-ended from what looks of it, as opposed to 5% is kind of the most that I would look to move, you know, the percentage there. Anyway, hope that helps there, Bernd. Luna bros, Luna, yeah. So Luna's really, it looks like Luna's keeping the market up along with Saya, pushing that Bitcoin up. So that's positive. In fact, let's jump over to the heat map and check that out. I think they're holding up pretty well. Yeah, Bitcoin's holding up pretty nice, 46,700. I don't think. Let me check the Luna buying. I've got the contract address. Been watching that myself. Let me pick that up. See whether they've been buying anything more. Luna BTC wallet. I'm just picking that up. I haven't actually got that here. I should probably migrate it over to this computer. So they're sitting on 30,727. 30,727 Bitcoin at the moment, with 1.43 billion US dollars. So the idea was that they're going to support their stable coin UST with Bitcoin, moving that, transitioning that over, and they're looking at $10 billion buy, which is be massive, right? That's like $139 million of buying per day, but I don't think they've been doing that quite like that in the conservative way. The last, I don't see anything coming in addition to that. So cool. All right, we'll watch that at this stage. Tappins with the money bags. Get Hexes in the house. Woo, bam, bam. Yeah, see, and ETH sitting at 3,500. That's not too bad. I'm hoping that it gets up to 4,000. That'd be pretty cool. Man, I'd love a triple top. And imagine, well, maybe not now. Maybe as in the month following PulseChain launch. Imagine triple top in crypto with maybe a month, 6 weeks of PulseChain launching after. That'd be pretty cool. It looks like Brazogi fell asleep, says Taffrin. Nice, that's funny. And Tintot says, don't trigger Superman. He turns into the Hulk and starts smashing things, mostly like, yeah, that's true, Tintot. Rogiello says, this is Rojo from Vegas. Question, can we stake our PulseX Sacrifice for real, or is it only testnet? Thank you. So it's only a testnet at the moment, Rogello. So this PulseX here with the pool, it is only testnet, so it's all pretend. You can see I've got almost 10 million stake there, which is the max on this particular limit. Now, people ask whether that's going to be maintained. We just don't know. I think this is an example pool from what I can tell, and of course we may have multiple pools there for PulseX. Maybe sometimes they may have multiple pools, sometimes may have consecutive. They sort of start and end. You see there's a timer here, 4 days left. So we'll find out in due course. But at the moment, that's making pretty good money at the moment. 375 PRT, it's $315. That'd be pretty cool. I harvested one yesterday. I think it was $1,000. I harvested yesterday a PRT token. So yeah. This is all pretend. Everything on PulseChain at the moment is pretend. We're waiting for mainnet. That's the main event, and of course that's when the real money will play. And as I said in the presentation, that's maybe a day or two after PulseChain launches. The bridge will open. That's when the US dollar value will come in, because it's backed by real US dollars with USDC, USD Tether, things like that. So cool. Nice. Let's get onto the Hex price there. We'll just leave it on there for the moment with the Hex price. Pull that up. Cool. 14.7 cents. Tintop's in the house with the emojis. Loving it. Let's have a look here. Yeah, it's just testnet, says it's now. Eddie says, will we see PulseChain V3, or are we going direct to mainnet? I've kind of slightly veered to the fact that we will get V3, but in saying that, I don't think so. At the same time, it's like really tough on that one. The way Richard talked about it last time, he was like maybe slightly in favor of going to mainnet straight away if he could. And so we may not get V3. Really, the only thing left to go is trying to get version 3 liquidity into the AMM bot for PulseX. But yeah, we're gonna have to wait to see. It is a bit of a question mark there, Eddie. And I would say, let me say this. Let's say let me do the other way. Let me say that I'm probably 60% in favor, 60% belief that he'll go to mainnet, 40% for V3. It's a bit of a bit grey, to be honest. I was far more confident that V3 would be in there before, but then last time I watched him, he was almost like he wanted to avoid V3, because we've already had three test nets already, but of course he wants everything to be as good as possible, and he did want V3 liquidity to be in there, and so they are testing it on private servers and stuff like that, but yeah, they have to make certain approaches to V3 liquidity. We'd have to kind of make an approach because it's so different from the way V2 liquidity set up in Uniswap. Uniswap V2 has equal amount of the tokens in each side of the pool, whereas opposed to each side of the pool, as opposed to V3 where you can just have liquidity on one side, you can just have part of the price curve there as well. You can set different fees, 1% fee typically pool, or 2.3 is popular. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. I definitely want V3 liquidity. Otherwise, we're kind of sitting at about half the liquidity, and of course, with the biggest yield farming, you really want the 100%. He's also looking at doing other ones, Balancer, Banker, OX as well. Obviously, Uniswap, SushiSwap in the pools. Obviously, the bigger, but we're harvesting all these peers and all these other liquidity pools, and of course, bring them into PulseX. That's what's happening, right? It's all coming together to make the biggest yield farm in crypto history. So I think that's pretty positive. So we'll wait and see. Richard Hart's the man to make that call. So probably, maybe 55, 45, something like that. We'll see. Richard's going to have to answer that for us, Eddie, I think. Get Hex says, I'd love to go, but it's so far from us here in Australia to go to PulseCon. Yeah, it would be pretty cool. I agree with you, Get Hex. So I'm in New Zealand, obviously, Kiwi land. That's a long way away from here. Is Rag to Riches in the chat? I don't think it's Rag to Riches in the chat. I don't think Rag to Riches is in the chat. I didn't know he was in there. Rag to Riches. Woo-hoo-hoo. Yeah, I didn't even think he was in the chat. And Miles of Crypto says the whole PulseChain ecosystem that Richard is building is going to be vertically integrated. Everything we need will have future stuff, include fiat offering and wallet. Yeah, absolutely. So we've got a few things there. I have got a list of the stuff coming after PulseChain. Mainnet is up and running. It's kind of the infrastructure. We've got a lot of things, some things that third parties will provide. We've got coin ranking sites, PRC20s, obviously. We've got an centralized exchange that has talked to Richard, so hopefully that will be kick off all the centralized exchanges. I can't see how they can ignore PulseChain. It's like ignoring big money, especially if PulseChain takes over. Let's say PulseChain takes over a third of market share, or even more. That would of the dexes. That'd be crazy. And what happens if it did? Enough. We've got about $4.2 billion of daily trading with indexes. What would that be? What would that be? So let's pull up. That's a good question. Let's pull up CoinGecko, for lack of a better index token index site. And of course, we're going to jump to the exchanges here. We're going to go to where's the exchanges? Yeah, this one. We're going to go to category. I think it's category. Let me just double check. No, it's not where I was going to go. It's going to go to exchanges, I think. Let's go to exchanges. And let's go to DEXs. Actually, I think this is the site that I'm actually thinking about. Yeah, so here we are. We're sitting on, so DEX 24-hour volume at the moment is 5 billion on the DEXs. So that's, it's 40% of DeFi dominance there. So that's 5 billion. And of course, if we go to the centralized exchanges, where has it got the same numbers on their spots? 24-hour volume. Look at you got OKX and Binance dominating the 24-hour volume. All the DEXs together are bigger than KuCoin, but not quite bigger than OKX there in the daily volume. So I think DEXs will continue to take over centralized volume, particularly as crypto people get more experience with crypto. They want to get off the centralized exchanges. It's really the new people, the onboarding, the no coiners and stuff like that, which is still coming into these sites here. But once you get a bit mature and you realize margin trading wrecks you and stuff like that, then you definitely want to get into the DEXs here. We've got 5 billion. What happens if we take PulseX takes a third of that, maybe $1.5 billion of trading volume? Obviously, it's about $1 million of buy and burn a day. But what happens if we get 50%? Like this, you got Uniswap Vision 3, 1.3 billion at the moment. Obviously, this changes from day to day. You've got Uniswap Vision 2 at almost 400 there as well, and you've got I think we've got further down here SushiSwap 132. and obviously pancake swap there as well on that one on the Binance Smart Chain. But you know, man, you could get some huge volume. How could centralized exchanges ignore that sort of turnover? You know, it just doesn't make any sense. So I think Pulse has got to be taken on, and of course, I think this here will continue to grow compared to the centralized exchanges, and they can't really ignore the value on there. So cool. Right, what else we got going there? We've got David says the 15% of VIP is big savings. It is huge savings there on the old PulseCon conference. What else we got there? On-ramp will be huge. Will change the game. Yeah, so obviously an on-ramp, fiat on-ramp for PulseChain will be absolutely massive too. Not just the bridge, but massive with funds going on and off, and of course not having to go via Ethereum through the bridge. Miles Crypto says, not to mention if we get listed on a major centralized exchange, will be some adoption. Yeah, I agree with that. So if we go back again to the centralized exchanges, you know, which ones are we going to get listed on? I think people are pretty happy with OKX. Qcoin is one of my favorite. Crypto.com is another popular one. I don't think it's going to be Coinbase, even though we did the Send Foundation sacrifice. Definitely not Binance. And what else we got here? Kraken possibly. You know, so it's going to be interesting to see any of these. Obviously, we want to really get into an exchange that has over at least the top 10 exchanges. Probably the way to go. One of those. So it's going to be interesting to see. Well, if we get one, maybe we end up getting at least half a dozen, right? So we'll watch that. TikTok says green candle on Hex Token stream again today. Really? Let's jump back to that. Yay! Yeah. 414.85. Nice. We got the green candle there. That's pretty cool. We'll zoom in on that. That's for sure. Post that up. How about that? There we are. Green candle on the hourly. Hex token pump. Yeah, it's nice. I like that. Bob Wells says, nice. Just at work, having a break. Happy to catch the live. Hey, cheers, Bob. Yeah, well, if I'm doing 2 lives a day, you'll be able to catch more than that for sure. And Dog Day says 25-50%. Yeah, I think that's probably, you're talking about market share of the DEXs, the DEX volume. Yeah. Chilling like a villain, you says. And yeah, like a superhero there, Bob. It's like a superhero. Superman, that is. Davis says the LFG wallet. What else we got? David said that would put Bitcoin over 100,000. Yeah, that would do. The Luna wallet, yeah, for sure. So yeah, we've got coin ranking sites. We've got replacing. Richard's hiring, I think 2 devs, is it, to replace the MetaMask wallet. Kind of like the Electron app for cross-platform. What else? Cross-chain, unit swaps, more bridges. What else we got here? Better backends for the network. Stablecoin exchange. Now, I think he was having trouble with getting an exchange license from Spain. Let me know in the chat if you've heard anything more about that. But last time I think he was having a bit of trouble getting that. And also doing aggregation, like trying to replace 100 and stuff like that, as well as margin trading. I think getting on PulseX, for example, getting limit orders, getting stop limits, getting margin trading, those could all be upsides in the future. Margin trading is pretty huge, right? But of course, he doesn't like people to get wrecked, but he's kind of of the view that if people are going to do it anyway, you might as well provide a service that is cost effective and also give some warnings. So as opposed to the the fairy tale stuff you see on some of the big centralized exchanges like Bitfinex and stuff. Almost had a stutter there. Yeah. GetHex says, can you explain why these newer token projects, Mintra and Hedron, are at 70 cents to 2,000K, and they're not even launched yet? Well, that's because they're just this is just testnet. So I think you're talking about the prices. Let's have a look at what the prices are. Mintra there, 84 cents. That the one you're talking about there. And Mintra and Hedron at 2,000. Hedron is, I got a fraction of a penny there, so I'm not sure where the 2,000 is from. Maybe you're referring to something else. I don't think there's anything worth. Pulse Dodge got $431 for Pulse Dodge. That seems insane. What else? $1 for the incentive token at the moment. $5 for Crow. I think Crow will perform pretty well. Obviously, Crow is crypto.com here. I think that's going to perform pretty well on the PulseX. Yeah. It's all fictional. It's all made up. All these numbers are made up. So we won't know real values and real ratios until PulseChain launches the mainnet. But like I say, I think generally accepting that Pulse will be the top one in demand. Greg says, Superman loves to hate Cindy just like me. Yeah, absolutely. Unbelievable. I think there's, yeah, don't get me started, Greg, honestly. It's upsetting. It's upsetting the amount of ridiculousness that and oppression that we have to deal with. Bob Wells says, I hope that's the case, as I have lots of yeah. He's talking PulseChain price. Cheers, Bob. Got you. She sounds like our Nancy, Greg. She sounds like me. Bob Wells says, I think they are already resting V3 privately. Yeah, they're doing the private test network, so yeah, they are doing that. So there's a very good chance we could go to mainnet, folks. That is probably, if you're really going to push me to shove, I think that's probably, like I said, I think I put 55% on that. I think that's that could definitely happen. If they think it's not going to cause any issues, as long as they think it's not going to cause any, if it's simply adding, just like they add V3 to V2, the way that they've done done the harvesting, I think that they would be comfortable doing that. What else we got here? Eddie says, thank you. You're welcome. I hope they arrest it soon for the mainnet. Yeah. Bob Wells got that. What else we got there? Imagine, we're almost up to date here with the comments. Imagine if Coinbase picks a PLS up. Yeah, well, I wouldn't be surprised. They should. There's so many American users in PulseChain, so it would make a lot of sense. Bob Wells says, I don't think the public will see V3 at all. We'll go from 2B to mainnet. Can't wait. Yeah, I think that's probably the silent, the not so silent viewpoint there. Looking forward to RH very own luxury clothing range called Dick, says Brown. That's funny. V3 nap time sounds good. I got to wake up for the late show, says Tintop. That's true. Do you think KYC is coming to Dex's Hex token? Hope not. No. With the Dex's, no. That's what decentralized exchanges are all about. They're all about freedom. So no, I don't see that happening. I think any organization that sets up a DEX and gets KYC is not good. So decentralization is exactly designed to give us, censorship resistance and freedom. So definitely no. Any updates on V3 progress? Sorry, just got here. Yeah, so we're just saying that currently the testing for V3 liquidity is in on a private network, and we may not even get to V3. We may go straight from 2B to mainnet, as it's now we're saying at the top there. I don't think KYC for DEXs, but for on-ramps probably. Yeah, on-ramps, KYC probably would be the case because, laws in the EU, in the United States, possibly in other places, will be trying to tie people into the fiat gateway. That's where they have the control, is the fiat on-ramps. And unfortunately, that's the thing that we've got to try and push back as much as possible on. Brazolji's got the ducks in the house. Hey, good to see you, Brazolji. Woohoo! Ducks fed, says Brazolji. They are fed. Hardy says the whole problem why all RH doesn't get attention is there's the whole world. Bitcoin knows that he will destroy them. The new Bitcoin is Pulse and Hex. Game over, new world. Yeah. So it's all about taking over market share, right? So it's all about taking over the market share, pushing up the values, and of course that is how you start taking over the crypto world. We've got a total market cap here of 2.2 trillion in dollars there, and of course it's about taking over more and more of that asset value, as well as PulseX taking more. We've got 24-hour volume there, 116 billion dollars of volume there. That's pretty impressive. So yeah, that's what we want to do there. So cool. So what's that? 116 times 7. So that would be man, that would be awesome. So that would be $81 million of buying burn on PulseX every day if we had that total volume. That would be crazy, yeah. That's pretty funny. What's that? So where we going here? Bob Wells says you're Superman, bro. There it can only be one. That's true. I agree with you on that. I hope Crow does great. I use my crypto card for everything for free Crow returns. Yep. Apparently, it also has Hex. Is it Hex something with Hex sales or trading or something? Hex buying or something there. It's now. I haven't actually used the interface, but apparently it's Hex on it. I think Crow will perform well over time too. And man, their customer service kind of sucks. Takes too long to resolve problems. Yeah, I think when they have massive growth like they've had, that's typically a problem you see, is it the customer service. I don't know what they're going to do about that because I think that's a real win, having good customer service, but so many places struggle with that. But still the best game in town that I know of. It says it now. I hope I have a nice bag of MetaMask, so that would be great. Cool. What else we got going there? Hex God Turtle in the house. Woo-hoo-hoo. Let's go PLSX. I agree with you on that. And Bob well with the money bags. What else? That seems the way to get long, to get sorted. Riz, are you dealing with the chat on the phone? And finally, I think we're working up there. Brownies and now says, if I had a Hex for every time I appreciate your content, I'd be a millionaire already. I appreciate that, Brownie. Big shout out to you. And it has Hex on it on page 4. 50. Okay, on page 4, 50 pages, number 201. Go figure. We're always at 201. Why are they always the gatekeepers at 201? That's terrible. I feel mainnet is coming in 2 weeks. We will beat the ETH fake out before June. Which will put them on shame. I feel it in the bones. X-God Turtle, I think that is definitely a good scenario. Richard has said since about the 18th or 20th of January that he was, that they kind of could launch then. Obviously, they have extra stuff to do. But I definitely think that now, with the last couple of live streams that he's done, he's basically said, we haven't got a lot to do, but I can see that he wants to get V3 in. I want V3 in liquidity, so we'll see. And of course, he's got the educations around sacrifices. It's like you've got to have those all ticked off before you go. But 2 weeks is plenty of time, I'm sure, to get all that kicked out. Yeah, there's definitely a chance of that, man. Obviously, 2 weeks would be 14 and 19. That's the 19th. I've said 18th of April is the earliest that I see it, and so the 19th would work pretty well. People in chat saying the 20th of April, so we'll see. Dixon says, anyone listen to the Joe Rogan podcast with D. Becker talking about Pegasus 2, no quick infiltration of your phones by nation states, crazy cold wallet storage. That'd be true too. Well, obviously the so-called quantum computers that they potentially could undermine blockchains, but are they truly quantum? That's my question. I don't think any of the quantum computers are actually quantum computers. In other words, we're dealing with subatomic particles moving at that place, or even at the atom stage. Let's see it. Department of Redundancy. Brazil says the dev is back from vacation. Progress will fly down. Well, apparently it has been flying because what was his name? Someone said his name. I can't remember who said it. Was it David? Feder said his name. Was it Justin? I can't remember his name now. That was the dev that was on holiday, came back. But the GitLab has been getting updates. So 22 minutes ago, we just did an update on testnet yet. So that was announced. It doesn't actually show what the update is, unfortunately, unless it's one of these key file updates. It doesn't seem to show that. What the latest update is, so it might have just been something superficial in here. What else we got in here? This on testnet. Yeah, so they had the block height of 13,000. Oh, that was on the old one, or was it 13,224? It's a higher block height now. 13. They still got 13. That was on the old one. What's the new one? The block height. So if you're on PulseChain, yeah, this is the block height. So if you want to see stuff on PulseChain, you need to have assets in this block height, 14,360,999, which was the 10th. Yeah, this is one here. So 14,360,999, which is the March the 10th. So if you had assets on Ethereum at that time, you'd be able to see them on the PulseChain on that block. If you had assets after that, you wouldn't be able to see it. I had someone tell me today, said, I bought Hex, but I can't see my airdrop on the PulseChain. I said, that's because you're not in the block height, because the site, the ERC20 site, it must be reading PulseChain. The PulseChain, where's the PulseChain gone? PulseChain must be reading this PulseChain with that block height on it. What else we got in here? Anything else? Start the Pulse node? No. Jumping through all that. Validated? No. through all that. No, that's cool. Right, nice. We're gonna close out of that. Bam. Back the Hex price, 14.85 cents. Come on, let's go back up to 16 cents or whatever. Let's get back into that serious zone there. Dave says, who the F goes on vacation when progress must be made? Well, the point is he's probably been working for at least a year on the project before then, so you gotta have a bit of sympathy for that. And anyway, so when they come back from a holiday, at least they're fresh, and of course they can operate much faster. And of course we've got that file phase. It's better to have someone fresh and being able to get it done rather than tired and winding down. That's when the mistakes can happen. And of course, if you're doing solutions to stuff that you want to be really fresh. How I made it says, do you think we will have a bridge hack issues? We always hear about other chains having. Well, hopefully no. I said hopefully no. I don't know. I'm not a bridge person, but we've already heard the person that did the bridge seems to know what they're doing. So you can see that on Matty Allen's show. They got the bridge developer on there. Had a couple of interviews with them. So Roger says, probably someone so smart he doesn't understand human emotions very well. How Matt says Hex users will be affected. Yeah, that's true. Kept seeing number plates with PHEX today. I'm thinking it's going to be huge. Really, D-Hexagon? Have you really? That's amazing if you've seen that. I see Hex is above the Emochi resistance cloud on day chart for the first time in 2022. Good observation there. Have I got that in there? I don't think I've got that extra Mitsu. Let's have a look on the indicators. Sure. Metric card. I've got this other one on here at the moment. I don't have that. Hide that one. Damn. All right. On the daily, did you say? On the daily, was that? Probably on the day chart. All right. Yeah, I'm on the hourly there. Let me get the day. I haven't got the full data on this one. Why? Because I think it's because of the when I'm on Dexpos, this should have the full data. So that's what you're looking at. If that's what you're looking at, that's what I'm looking at there. So we're up in the red there. It's on the red, but it's not positive. We want to be in the green, I'm sure. But it is over the blue line though. One of my PulseChain sacrifice was done on day 14, and it's only showing 7,500 bonus. Any ideas why it's not 10,000? Day 14. PulseX sacrifice the first 12 days. The first 12 days is 10,000, but 7.5 seems a bit low. 7.5 seems a bit low. Let me pull up the old spreadsheet just a moment and pull this up. Let's check why that would be. PulseX. Bring up that spreadsheet now. PulseX, here we are. I'm going to pull that up. It should only be less by 2 days for the earlier pays better. Day 14. You should be at 9,070. 9,070 PulseX on day 14. So that's what you should expect to have. 10,000 was 2 days before day 12. So yeah, hopefully that helps you, the Hex God Turtle. Yeah, leave a message on the Sacrifice app and let them know that you've got an issue there. So if you haven't done that, pick it up on the link. Let me just pull up the validators and on the Sacrifice checker. So if you guys haven't checked your Sacrifice amounts, here is the link. I'll put the link in the chat there. If you have an issue, of course, make sure you pick up the latest version. That's the latest one. That's pretty accurate. So I'm pretty happy. I think most people I know are pretty happy with that version. But of course, if you've got some edge cases, you can record a missing sacrifice or some issues in there. I think it allows you to give some flexibility there. But that is the link there for the sacrifice checker there. Pretty easy. Year 3 today. Says a D-Hexagon. Nice. Bob Well says, smash out the emojis. I love it. Bob Well, you're doing a good job with that, especially as a Hex Token channel member. Can people still claim Hex from PTC? No, they can't. Some YouTube had videos stating it. I got people asking. No, says Tic Tac. That's all a scam. Scam. There is no left PTC free claim left. That's a long time ago. We're currently on, I think it was day. Let me just lost my charger here. Let's go to recharge. recharge the mouse there for a second. We'll just stay on the chat there for a second. It's going to recharge. Give me a second. We're just kind of stuck on this page just for a moment. So cool. Yeah, so no, free claim ended. Was it day 351 on Hex Journey? We're currently on day 8. Was it 853? I think we're on day 853 at the moment. So yeah, no Hex, no BTC free claim for Hex at the moment. So just take that into account. So let's see what day we're on. Yeah, sorry, day 855. We're on day 855, and so day 351 was the last day, as if I recall correctly, or day 350. And those two was the last free claim. In fact, we can go to go.hex. I think that's got on the transform there. See, this one here doesn't have the free claim button on it, so that doesn't have it. But day 351, that's at 17th of November was the last day. 80th of November, last day. Claim that. Cool, good bit. All right, what else we got? Sounds like the IT guy from the first Jurassic Park movie. Where else we got there? Good to Newman. Man, I love Newman. Newman. Was that in Newman and Seinfeld? Was it Newman and Seinfeld? Man, he was so, that cast was amazing in that show. Okay, thanks. I submitted it, and yeah, cool. Nice one, Hex God Turtle. You can claim Hex or BTC with me right now, 1-to-1. Says no. Well, you can't do that, I guess. But yeah, there's no more free BTC free claim for Hex. Long time ago now. What's that? 500 days ago, maybe. Is that right? 500 days, about that. All good. I just wanted to make sure it was BS before I slammed the YouTuber for spewing crap. Yeah, that's pretty bad. Cool. Ross and Rachel Newman. Oh, right, lol. Okay, Ross and Rachel. Yeah. I watched Ross and Rachel. That we were talking about that the other day. Ross and Rachel. I watched their video of their like summary of Ross and Rachel on Friends. But I also watched Seinfeld. I've watched a lot of those old classics. What are they called? Sitcoms, I guess you call them. Oh, yeah, that's pretty good. Hex Holder says, I thought he gave us 15 days of 10,000X on PLSX, an extra 5 days. Different from PLSX. Sec, man, I messed that up. No, so PulseChain was the first 5 days, and PulseX was the first 12 days at 10,000 for $1. Yeah, don't worry, Hex got to do a lot. It's easy to do. Woo-hoo-hoo. Chris Marketing in the house. Good to see you, man. It's been a few days, but it's good to see you. I don't think you have been a few days. Brenda says, Brownie, you just made me buy more hearing that. Yeah. All right, so looking not too bad here on the daily. Here we are at the bottom of the range. I say not too bad. We've got a red candle. I was just trying to make you feel good, but there we are. We've got a red candle, but we know it's just some sort of bull flag. I'll measure it out on another channel, on another live show. We'll see where that is. It seems a bit extended, but we'll see. Push up to that. We're in the red. This emoji cloud, not really liking this emoji cloud. Was it Ichimoku cloud? That's probably a better way to say it. As well. I've been watching a few videos with, was it polylinguals or what are they called? Polygraphs, where they know multiple languages, multilingual. I guess multilingual is easy, but are they called polylinguals or poly something? I can't remember. I've been watching a few of those videos, pretty classic. Chris says, being very sick, sir. Oh, well, I hope you're feeling better now, Chris. I hope you're feeling better. Hope it's something that is able to be. Hex God Turtle says, is that a cup and handle? I've heard of other channels. Cup and handle. There's your cup and your handle forming. Yeah, I guess so. Guess that does kind of look. But it depends where you take the top, right? You're talking about from here, the cup here. Otherwise, from here, that's definitely not a cup and handle from there. But you'd have to, from this here, maybe, you could argue that's cup and handle. And it's up and away. Well, I think it's going to go up and away for many reasons anyway, because PulseChain's coming. I know some content creators kind of shy away from saying that there's going to be a rally of the price before PulseChain mainnet launches, but I just cannot see why there wouldn't be. And so people, if they don't get Hex copied over, then they're going to miss out on so much ratio trading, especially if they're wanting to get Hex on Pulse or trade it for PLS. That's probably one of the better assets, easy, because there's so many Hexicans already in Pulse and PulseX that's probably going to get priced up. So yeah, seems okay. TikTok says Motley investor on a GRC stream yesterday was full of alpha info. Yeah, I never got to watch that there, TikTok. So Jim Rat Crypto Show, I never got to see that, so I will try and watch that. They do get access to some inside info through different mechanisms, through kinetics and stuff like that, especially if they're dialoguing with Richard, stuff like that. So there's little FOMOs there. Now, I know the Joker was pretty hyped up yesterday on Twitter, talking about how he heard some really cool stuff around PulseChain and PulseX, and he had even more FOMO now. But he said he was going to talk about that on the live stream now. He had a live stream too. I'm not sure if he's talked about it, so we'll see. If I find any of that stuff, I'll let you know. But of course, if you guys hear stuff, let me know in the chat. That's what it's all about. Community is all about sharing and caring. Sharing is caring. Chris says long haul COVID. Oh, really? Oh man, that's a shame. Well, I hope you do recover with that. Yeah, take lots of good vitamins, and like multivitamins and things like that probably help, I guess. Hex God Tittle says me too. Well, up and away all day. Are you flying over to USA for the September event? Now, I think PulseCon wants a lot of the content creators to get over there. I'm just not sure whether that's going to be possible in this country. It's very difficult. I'm sure, was it Greg up the top there? Greg, let me have a look here. Can't remember who was up the top here. I think it was saying that. Yeah, it's not that easy to travel out of our country under the current regime. We've gone from being one of the most freest countries in the world to being in an oppressive state within a 2-year period, so it's not much fun. LM says, will we get to play with limit orders and NFTs on testnet as well? Yeah, well, we talked about limit orders. Hopefully that feature will be added to PulseX because it is on. I did a live stream on that the other day on limit orders and stop limits, which would be over here on the trade. Yeah, on the exchange. So that's not not showing yet. So it might be a feature that comes maybe after PulseChain launches. They do have to organize that with, I think it's Gelato, whatever the company's called. I can't remember the name, but it was they have to automate like a bot trade, like automatic contract that sort of operates that way. NFTs, yeah, NFTs will be there. So all the contracts, ERC20s, 721s, 1155s, all the stuff on Ethereum will get over there. You can see a list of those on Ethereum, on the Ethereum block explorer. You just have to go to tokens here, and you can see all the ERC20s there. These are the top ERC20s. See, there's over 512,000 contracts, token contracts on it, and of course ERC21s. There's top tokens there. So it's taking a little bit to show up there. Let me just close down a few stuff maybe. So ERC 721 tokens are all there. You can see that stuff all coming over basically. And of course the ERC 1155s. Now I think 1155s are multi-purpose contracts. I'm not a coder, but I think that's what they are. And then the 721s are the NFT ones. But you got you got the 8 list here, so you got stuff that looks like it's kind of a mixed bag of different contracts here with different features. You got moon pets and stuff like that, so it'll be interesting. Maybe we should go through that in more depth next time. Yeah, it's the 721s. That. Gutter punks. What else? We should have some of the big ones up the top here, shouldn't we? Show because this is not it's got transfers but it doesn't show the value. There's no values. Some of these may have values, some of them won't have values, depending on what they are. Yeah, you can search them, of course. Cool. How I made it says, do you think Motley can beat Jim Rat in an arm wrestle contest? Yeah, I would say that. Jim Rat's a very fit guy, but Motley's quite a big guy, right? I think he's quite big, isn't he? He looks big on the camera, but yeah. It's all about the leverage, right? You got to get that leverage. Have you seen the movie Over the Top? I think they have it on their arm wrestle. So it's a kind of different thing. I think that athletically, Jim Rat Crypto would probably be, in more general things, probably more agile and active on other multi sports. But this is just based on my visual look, so it's not. But on an arm wrestle, Motley's quite a stocky kind of dude. Mate, it says with the shirts off. Of course, that's crazy. You're really moving the conversation down there. How mate, you're moving the conversation down. Motley is Cutter though. No home. Okay, right. Tic Tac says basically Motley was saying PLSX will be the star in the short term. 1 to 2 years, PLS will be slower with a 5-year outlook. Yeah. So I've from technically speaking, PulseX has got the obvious financial buy and burn. That's an obviously much bigger financial impact than PulseX and than Pulse. But the thing is that people want the chain, and that's the way crypto works. So that's why we're seeing this ratio trade going on as well in favor of Pulse. And of course, people missed out on Pulse. People, big conservative money wants the chain token for the big conservative money. I agree with the PulseX is clearly financially a faster buy and burner. But I think that straight out of the gate, Pulse would be the one that people will be after, and then money will turn back into PulseX and Hex. It's kind of the way I see that, relatively speaking. That's the way I see that playing out. So I think, out of the gate, there maybe PulseX will definitely over that medium term period, at 1 to 2 years. In my view, the market would then rationalize and say, okay, this thing is actually buying and burning tons of tokens, and especially at the beginning when the price of PLX is low. But obviously, as the price of PLX goes up, then you need more volume growth to offset that price increase to burn even more. Move to the state segment. AZ, welcome to you. Hey, Arizona is one of the great states, isn't it? That would probably be a pretty cool state to be at. In Arizona. Let me just type in is it Arizona? Hopefully I spell this right. Arizona, Arizona, USA. Let's see if we got some images of that. No images. Let's look if we got some images there. Arizona State is pretty nice. I thought there'd be some cool pictures, but I can't see any cool pictures. No, I want to get out of that place. We get images. We got some images. Arizona States. Oh yeah, cool. And it's got all the famous cowboy stuff in it. Yeah, it's got this. Also, one of the states that goes through the Grand Canyon. So looks at one of the Grand Canyon ones there. What's this place here? Phoenix. Man, that's pretty. Is that Phoenix, Arizona? That's really pretty. Pretty city. Nice. Yeah, it's got the Grand Canyon. Yeah, it's pretty epic. The real cowboy country. Wow. Okay, cool. I was hoping to have desert. What do we got? Downtown, Grand Canyon, Antelope Canyon, the Wave. Not sure what that is. The Wave. What is that? Oh, the Wave. Wow, it's got some cool waves on there. That's nice. All right, cool. We digress a little bit, but hey, we're back. Arizona sounds awesome, says Bob. New Zealand is God's country, so beautiful there. Yeah, well, yeah. New Zealand is easily one of the best places in the world from beauty point of view, but that doesn't mean that an oppressive government can't make it really crappy from a social point of view. Queef says, how do you think the land for Decentraland and Sandbox would work on PulseChain? With the copies, would there be a second world of each? Well, my point with that, Queef, is that they're going to operate a lot better. I heard that a lot of people aren't actually able to trade, especially when the ETH fees are really high. People stopped doing a lot of trade. It was only the wealthy people and Decentraland and stuff like that. I haven't actually played on Sandbox, but Decentralized I've been on that. And a lot of the smaller retail weren't able to do stuff because it was so expensive. And that's why PulseChain would be awesome for metaverses like Decentraland and stuff. I guess it's up to the team to make that enabled, right? To enable that token. I guess that's the way it would work. But it's definitely something to shout out to the Decentraland team. I think all the metaverses like that would be really, really good idea. Motley's a thick boy, not stocky. Is it a thick boy? Says that's funny. Hey, we should probably not talk too much about the other people on the channel. So it's probably not polite. The polite society, as we say. Hex God Turtle says maybe I'm biased, but I think PLSX. It's my fault too. I'm sorry for entertaining such a topic there. But I think PLSX will do better than other swap just because of the ease and great look of the site. Fabulous. People enjoy it just because it looks good. I agree with that too. I'm just saying people perceive the token. You think about Ethereum. Ethereum did the big X's, right? So that's what people are looking at. People are looking at the big X's. I think I got on my spreadsheet. Let me just pull it up. So people are looking at the big X's of Ethereum and they're going, oh, PulseChain is the Ethereum token. Yeah, so what do we got here? So yeah, the all-time high of Ethereum. So from the initial offering of 30 cents, which was what, 2015, whatever, and up to all-time high, $4,847, 16,158x on Ethereum. So that's what people are looking at. That's why I said, and we already see that on the testnet, people going for pulse ratios in favor. The other thing, of course, is people are saying that. People are saying that's what they're going to do as well. So people missed out on PulseChain sacrifice. They did PulseX to get Pulse. Only a certain amount, just a certain amount, but enough to that. Some of them may have changed their mind as well because they know that if there's like $1 billion of trade volume going through PulseX, then that's $700,000 of buy and burn. You don't have that in Pulse. But it's a different value proposition. That's what I'm saying. No one's ever seen PulseX before. It's like super duper pumpamental. But of course, the Pulse is the chain, and people perceive that. The perception in crypto is they're after the chain. So, and when you think of Ethereum having done over 16,000x, that's what they're going for, right? So, we've got Uniswap and PancakeSwap with 140, 170 x there, and SushiSwap, but at a much lower. But really, you got BNB that was 6,300x, and I think you're going to get. I think PulseX is going to do big X's. I think it's going to do massive X's too. I think it's competitive in some ways with Pulse, but over a longer horizon, because even though it's going to do the buy and burn way better and get tokens off the market, it's going to the perception change is going to take a little bit of time. Like I said, I'm looking to pick up all of them all at the beginning as much as I possible in like kind of even slots. So I'm taking a distributed strategy for that. Constitutional carry here also says it's now. Yeah, I like that. That's positive. Yeah, we found that it's even more important, right? Because you don't know who's these arrogant people trying to control us, and they think they're better than us, which is crazy, right? It's this crazy notion. Hardy Giant Land says, where do you see the role of Hex in the new PulseChain world? The old staker coin or what? No, I think it's going to be the shining, the golden boy on the block kind of thing, because it is kind of like the savings product for on the chain. You think about if you can get a pretty consistent 38% APY, plus if you do it at 6.39 year stake, plus a penalties on top, that's pretty consistent. So that offers a lot of value. So on the PulseChain. So I think that's a really big add. And of course, you'll have volatility in the yield farming earnings and volatility in the pool farming earnings over time. So Hex gives you that real stability. So that's kind of my argument for Hex doing very well. Plus, it's the first token of Richard Hart's. I think it's probably the principal indirect beneficiary of value creation in Pulse and PulseX. So as people make a lot more value and money and profit in PulseX and Pulse, they will then feed that into that big, awesome savings product. Not all their portfolio, but some of it will go on there. Yeah, that's my kind of view on that, Artie. Joshua Hill says, so what is the best way to prepare for mainnet? Like I said, just make sure that you've got all the assets on Ethereum that you wanted to have, that you wanted to get copied over on the PulseChain that you think are going to do well. That's probably the best thing. If you're wanting to, a good strategy, if you want to get more Pulse, you could buy some Hex for that, or another token that you really like. And of course, it's a good strategy. Obviously, if you've sacrificed for PulseX or PulseChain, then you're going to get a copy of that into your wallet. All you need to do is make sure that you keep abreast of when Richard Hart launches. Wait for Richard Hart Twitter, and of course when he launches the PulseChain, we'll all know about it, and then you'll be able to switch your if you're using MetaMask, switch that over to the PulseChain, and or add the PulseChain mainnet and switch it over, and you'll see your tokens. You'll be able to interact with PulseX and everything else live on mainnet. That's kind of where to go there. Zolly says Arizona is hot as balls. Says Zolly. I bet it is. It looks hot in those pictures. Queef says thank you so much. Hey, you're welcome there, Queef. A big shout out to you. Another Hex Token channel member representing truth for 6 months, but 6 months of heat is better than shoveling snow. That's probably true. TikTok says my family Mount Taranaki area. Grandma's ashes up atop of a mountain. Can't wait to visit again. Hey, that's amazing. Okay, cool. That's really good, TikTok. Yeah, Mount Taranaki is pretty cool. It's a bit like Mount Taranaki looks like what's it in Japan? There's a big mountain. They look the same. Mount Taranaki and is it Mount Fujiima? Fujiima, is that the right mountain? I think they're both like cone mountains with the snow on them. They pretty much look pretty similar. ETH to 14,000x is Brazology. Yeah, I've got 16,000x here, Brazology, between the 30 cents ICO. So just slight differences there. 60,158x. Yeah, that's what I've got, 16,158x. Yeah. I have a lot of Sandbox and Mana, so fingers crossed. Yeah, I would definitely hit up them in Telegram or in Twitter and see what they're going to do on PulseChain, because obviously if they've lost a lot of trading volume on there, which I presume they have on Ethereum, then PulseChain is the ultimate answer for them. So that's why I said when I talk about projects being able to be revived and relive again, I'm talking exactly about projects like Mana and that. So yeah, I'm not too familiar with Sandbox. So I'm not talking too much about that one, but I guess they're similar platforms. Brennan said I sold all my Sandbox at a 10x, put it all in X. Nice one there, Brennan. Brazili says every PulseX swap requires PulseChain coins. They do, but the value of them is low, right? The value of Pulse is going to be low, relatively speaking, especially with the amount of fees getting burned. So even though there's going to be a lot of volume because it's got everything on top of it, compared to PulseX, is going to be on the value of the trade. So if you've got $1,000 going through, remember it's 0.07% of that. So that's a big deal, right? So the dollars are very different from themselves in total. Exodus says I'm the 69th like. Nice. Hey, we were up to 71 likes. Cool. Sorry to trigger you again, Hex Token. Yeah. I'm so annoyed about what's going on with these governments, particularly in Canada, New Zealand, France, and a few other European countries, and possibly even in Australia as well. What's happening there is not great. It's not good. And it's unnecessary, right? They're trying to take away freedoms. Anyway, I don't want to get too much into it, but it is annoying. Thanks, Briz. Nice. Thanks for answering my question, says Joshua. Hey, you're welcome. Do you know anything about Maximus? Yeah, so apparently Maximus is going to be pool staking for Hex. Apparently that's audit's going to be out in the next week, and basically you'll be able to pool your Hex and do a big pool, and then they're going to stake it 5 for 5. Then you can issue some Maximus as a derivative token, which will be tradable. That's the way I understand it's going to work. I myself am not into pools, like putting Hex into pools. I'd rather have control over that myself, even without having a derivative product. Obviously, at the end of the stake in 15 years' time, then I think it's 15 years they're doing, then so it's good from the point it gets more Hex off the market. But on the other hand, I think they allocate you based on the amount of Maximus you have in the future, how much the Hex stake you get, including all the inflation and penalties from that. That's how I understand it's going to work there, Kel. Hex God Till says Game Theory PLSX will be top 4 swap only. Uniswap, Pancake, Phantom. We are going to dominate. Hopefully, not as many people will use Uni on PLS. That's yeah, that's going to be interesting. I think that they'll probably do okay. Game Theory PLS will be top 4 swap on Uni, only on Uni, Pancake, Phantom. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, they'll be in big demand on other chains. Yeah, I think that's the way you put it. Hardy Lounge says, will ETH be copied too? and for what value. Yeah, so there's going to be ETH when you wrap, it gets wrapped. So it will be copied over on the chain. Are you getting pulse for your ETH? You're getting pulse for your ETH. 1 ETH to 1 pulse. Yeah, that's right. So good. It's now it's got that. Nice. Yeah, it's going to be wrapped ETH on there at the moment, which you can see we've done that on the chain. Yeah. Yeah, this one here, ETH there, that's what you bridge over on the chain. So that's Ethereum on the chain. But in terms of the airdrop, yeah, pulse is what you're getting. If you got ETH, you're getting 1 pulse per ETH. D Money here. Hey, D Money's in the house. I'm here. Hey, D Money, good to see you. Very, very cool. D Money's in the house, folks. Rocking the DMV with the D Money. Love it. All right, so we'll snap out of that. What else? Yeah, Binance Coin did 6,272x. Its launch price was 11 cents. All-time high was $689.92. So that's a good reference there. Cool. I think PulseX is just going to blow out all the exchanges. I think, it's a decentralized exchange. I think it's going to be absolutely amazing with the buy and burn. It's going to be so good. I do think they will rationalize. I've said this a couple of times, but I think they might rationalize this LP burn here. Although it is, I guess, fun for people to click. But this could get quite handsome. Some of these buy and burns could be quite lucrative for PLX if people get, especially in the early days. Could you imagine people were clicking this button all the time, particularly these leading pairs at the top? You can see there's nothing available at the moment. The people have been clicking this all the time. Let me refresh there. Even in testnet, people are clicking this buy and burn all the time. So you see how popular this will be. Obviously on PancakeSwap, they do it to order. You get paid a little bit of cake to compound the pool for cake. So yeah, there's nothing there. Man, I was lucky when I remember when I was on here before. It was like $800 worth, wasn't it? $800 worth of PLS, I think. But I missed that. So I missed out on 1,000 PulseX or something, whatever it was, and the bounty. Nice. What else? I've got D Money says hello, sup guys. Hex God Turtle says, what is your PLSX open? I'm guessing 0007. What is your PLSX open? I'm guessing 0007. Well, a lot of people are at quite a few people at that range, I guess. Is the way you talk about that. I won't say much more there. D Money's got the top 10, 01. I'm not sure what that 01 is. Let me know what that is. Definitely buy Hex with that ETH. Yeah, I'd get Hex. Yeah, that's a good strategy. Buy Hex with some ETH if you got some ETH. Obviously, if you need a little bit of pulse to do transactions, there will be faucets. There will be sites that I don't talk about too much, like free pulse and things like that out there. Yeah, so there will be opportunities to get pulse if you haven't got any ETH or anything like that. You will need pulse to operate on the chain. So remember, make sure that you've got at least a little bit of pulse there. There will be, way to go. It'll be amazing. Yeah, 10 cents. Yeah, that would be amazing. Creep says, do you think it would be better to bridge PLS and PLSX to Ethereum and stake it there, since less people would be staking on Ethereum? Well, that's part of the gamification there, Creep. That's why it's talked about the APY, that might end up being the case. People are all going, maybe Hex on Pulse is going to be the main game. Maybe I should unstake my Hex, sell my Hex, and then bridge that stuff over and buy Hex on Pulse. But like I say, the APY differential could really play a difference over time. It'll take a little while to play a difference, but that could definitely happen. And that would give you some sort of arbitrage opportunity. Everyone talking about Pulse and PulseX, no one talking about the dark horse, that PHEX. Yeah, we talked about PHEX earlier, Hex down. We actually spent quite a bit of time talking about Hex on PHEX. We spent quite a bit of time talking about that. D Money says take advantage of the bot ratios. That's true. Joshua says, got another question. My original plan was to swap a quarter of a PulseX to Pulse. Thoughts? I think that's okay. If you've got no Pulse, I think that's fine. I think you should probably just wait until the ratios calm down a bit, where you get a period where it comes down a bit. Because at the beginning, I think it could be quite crazy. Let me think about that. So the AMM bot's going to set up the pools, so people are going to add liquidity. The AMM bot's going to kind of control that. So yeah, just see what happens on the day. No one really knows, but just try and find a sort of an even period straight out the gate. I think the ratios could be problematic. Also depends on how big the whales are that are playing in that as well, which I imagine is going to be huge. That pulse ratio could go up quite high. That's probably the way. But then it does depend on how much is in the liquidity pool, right? How much is in the pool? How many people are willing to? People that have sacrificed for PulseX that are large are going to swap large amounts of PulseX for Pulse. That's kind of where I'm heading with that. And how much is the total in that pool? I kind of estimated maybe there'll be 1 trillion Pulse in the pool, but we'll see. We'll see. Let me pull up the measures there. I just want to get the numbers right so that I don't click on the. Yeah, so lucky I didn't say the two. It was actually the Fixer bot, maybe something like 3 trillion Pulse to do the AMM bot harvesting. The Pulse team is going to get 1%, so that could be about 1.2 trillion Pulse. The open market's probably somewhere around about 12.5 trillion Pulse, and I think we've got the top whales are probably almost 8 to 10% of that. So that's probably the case there. What's the leaderboard? How much are they getting? They're getting quite a bit. Yeah, so maybe around that amount. So and then of course that open market. So how much are we going to get? Maybe 12.5. Maybe we'll get we could see maybe 1 trillion across the different trading pools. I think we talked about this earlier, but if we had PLS6 burn. Let's go to the info. Hey, welcome everybody. If you haven't subscribe, like, share, hit the bell, all those good things. Help make the channel grow as we promote pretty much full time now. PulseX and Hex. So it's gonna be a lot of fun. Share the channel around too. That helps a big deal. And of course, hit the bell for future videos for sure. What we got here? We got Pulse. So if we get the Pulse here, we've got all these liquidity pools. I would ignore all these daily volumes here. Just ignore those because this is testnet. People were playing around at the beginning, and there's only a fraction of people playing with this. A lot of people that are actually sacrificing PulseX haven't even played around with this testnet. I bet you your bottom dollar they may have checked their sacrifice balances possibly. A lot of people probably haven't even done that. And of course, there is the volumes just mucking around. So this is I would just ignore all the volumes on here. The only thing I think that's of interest is the trend of the price and some of the pairs. I think some of the pairs have some interesting influence. I think that's probably the closest thing you can get to insights on here. Otherwise, it's all just pretend. And so you got PulseX. What was I looking at here? So we've got liquidity here. We've got the volume here. So liquidity over the right here. We've got 323 million. This is just made up numbers. Remember, it's not real. But this sort of shows you the dominant pairs in there already at this stage. But it could be quite different when things get priced up later. And so you got these pairs in here. We could have a lot of other like top ERC20s that are actually higher pairs that are dominating maybe in this top area. They might end up dominating this period here as they get priced up, right? Chain link and all that sort of good stuff. They could get priced up quite fast. Yeah, so this is where most of the liquidity is in these four at the moment, but it could be very, very different later on. Yeah, so how much pulse is actually in all these pools, right? That's the question. Is there going to be 1 trillion pulse in those pools that it's going to get price goes up, they all get eaten up, and then maybe we end up with 300 or 400 billion pulse in there, that kind of idea. That's the logic. Queef says thank you again. Hey Queef, you're welcome. Okay, thanks. Says Joshua Hill. Nice. Hex Turtle says my delayed gratification is burning into my delayed gratification. I'm going on vacation for a month with no computer. That's probably a good idea, to be honest. And you might wake up. Very crazily wealthy too. Bob Wells says have a great time. Nice one, cheers, Bob. And Hex Wells says I might take my treasure. Well, that's what. Yeah, just don't take care of your key phrases or anything like that around. We've had some terrible stories of people, either getting robbed and losing their private keys or key phrases and stuff. And join, yeah, definitely join. Nice. What are we up? We're up to 2 hours and 4 minutes, folks. Very, very cool. We've got 78 people watching. It's not bad. Not bad day in the office there. Rob Wells says, "Hey guys, I'm up to 500 transactions on 2B. How are you guys doing?" Well, Bob, I think you've done even more than me. I've done maybe not that many. I may have done maybe 100. Maybe done 100. I don't know if I've done that many. Even on all the live streams, I don't think I've done. Or maybe I have done a lot. Maybe I've done more than I think I've done. But I don't think I've done 500. That's for sure. We got Hedron at 2,585. It is slightly just slipping there. The target price for me is the 486 there, so it could go to 2,000, but it could even go slightly down to 80. That'd be about 1,700 or so, 1,800. So at the moment, still holding up though. Hasn't really kind of broken this level. I think if it starts breaking 2,400, then that's more likely to go down. At the moment, still holding this line. If it goes much further down though, 2,400, another 200 there on that one, it could be going down rather than up. So I think it's a pretty key line there. Let me just press that over here. Kind of got line there, kind of that line there crosses up underneath that. Could be in a bit of trouble there. Cool VIP, and we've got Hex sitting at 14.86, just teasing us here at this level as we wait. It's kind of, we're in this, like I said, we're in the middle of the eye of a storm where it's very quiet, and the markets are typically slightly weaker in those markets. Although I think we've actually held up reasonably well. So this shows you there's not a lot of sellers as much as we would think. We go to the DMI, we can see the sellers are still on the weaker side, although buyers has been coming down the last day or two, and we can see that in the price chart there. And we did see the increase in the sellers there, which we've seen in the price chart. Momentum is still in slight favor of the buyers at this stage, so we'll just see. We need a bit of an uptick in buying to resurrect ourselves back the other direction at this stage. And of course the RSI cooling off a bit there, but almost back at halfway, so there's plenty of room to move up if it wants to. We'll see. Cool. Let's wrap up. We've got Ding Wolf says Pulse will fail, says Ding Wolf. Okay, someone delete that. You're terrible, Pulse, Ding Wolf. What are you talking about? I'm at 5 says it's now. Hex God Well says hit that like button. Like I'm out. Thanks again, great content. Hey, Hex God Turtle, appreciate that. And Dingle Wolf says joking, yeah. Life ban for Dingle Wolf, just kidding. Life ban, just joking, life ban. That's good. All right, this now says what I was trying to see if I could ban a wrench. Says yeah, I forgot that Dingle Wolf's got a wrench. Yeah, I think the rest got a wrench. Let's have a look. There's Dingle Wolf. I can't even see Dingle Wolf, I should say. Cool. Let me just get rid of the comment there. Idea file says obscuring the screen with chats whilst presenting, unable to see the bottom part of the presentation slides. Does it from the beginning? Is that right? Is that what I did? I don't remember doing that. Or maybe I did do that. Oh, that'd be a bit bad if I did that. I've got to, like I said, just start doing the presenting here. So I'll try and improve on that. I'll watch it back after the live stream. Make sure I don't do that. Says Bob. Dingle says love you all, says it nice. And David says if Pulse fails, I will eat a crap sandwich, says David. Yeah, I think so. Pretty cool. What a cool photo. Hey everybody, what's that? I got the thumbs up there. Yeah, cool. Oh, the camera's quite small. I don't know why the camera is like that. Yeah, cool. All right, nice. Yeah, definitely watch presentation at the beginning. I will put a timestamp on after the live stream, but that's probably going to be the way to go. What time have we got on here? We got the time is getting up there. I better probably wrap up now. 2 hours and 8 minutes. I think it's probably a good time to finish. Bob Wells says that love you too. Too long bingo, says Bob Wells. Thanks for watching, everybody. Hope you enjoyed this one. Definitely watch the beginning if you missed it. We covered how PulseChain will work, so definitely check that out. At least based on what we know so far. Cool. All right, if you're a Hex Token channel member, smash the emojis out on the way up. If you're not a member, subscribe to the channel. That'd be really cool. Like, share, hit the bell, all that good stuff. And of course, if you want to become a member of the channel, hit the join button. We've got PulseChain, Hex Token, and the Richard Hart Club. And of course, we're looking at doing at least 2 live streams a day and some other content as well. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Take care now, everybody. Woo-hoo-hoo, says it's now. Like it. I'm going to post some emojis myself. Let's go hardcore on this. We're getting closer, folks. We're getting closer. Mainnet is not too far away, and then it's going to be a carnage after that, because when that launches, everybody's going to be like a feeding frenzy. That's for sure. Precious, thanks for the stream. You're welcome. You have a great day, evening, family. Cheers, says Bob Wells. Griff says thanks for everything. You're welcome. And it now says click the join button. Yeah, definitely click that and support the channel. Nice. Let me post my emojis. Looking good. Very cool. All right. We've got very cool. Now, thank you for your work, man. It's a pleasure. Take care, everybody. Peace out, and look after yourselves, and spend plenty of time with your cool people around you, for sure. Enjoy yourself. Bye.